Holy Spirit, my ancestors, my guides, my guardians, allow me to channel the rest of these messages that are meant to come out for the divine collective of chosen ones, light workers, ascended masters, drugs. Ooh. Holy Spirit, charming. Mm-hmm. Yep, just as expected. These karmic bastards is not gonna stop until they're in the grave. That's pretty much what I'm seeing. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm. I see. Thank you, Spirit. Mm-hmm. Yep. Holy Spirit, could we get some messages, some more messages for the collective? What needs to be known at this time? What needs to be revealed at this time? Mm-hmm. Thank you. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. The smoke. Ooh, the smoke is thickening. Thank you, Archangel Michael. I ask that you come in here, my brother, to continue. Yep. To protect me, my messages, and the general collective of chosen ones. I ask that you give me the strength and the power to guide as the divine wants me to guide. Yep. For the general collective of chosen ones, ascended masters, light workers, empaths, star seeds, new earth leaders, prophets, spiritualists of the light. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you to my spirit team, my guides, my angels, my ancestors, and my spiritual heavy hitters and warriors for protecting me from any and all dark forces and spiritual attacks, known and unknown, seen and unseen, across the four cardinal points of the earth, across all worlds, realms, and dimensions. Across all timelines and across past, present, and future, and across all lifetimes, known and unknown. Ashe. Okay. Ooh. Okay, I've said my prayers. Ooh. This is a wonderful day. All right, everything is connected live. Hi, greetings, you guys. Greetings. Hi to you. Y'all, I was just getting ready, I'm just flowing. I'm in a flow state. I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. It's a little cloudy where I am. But it's always a wonderful day to breathe and to be alive, y'all. I'm going to get into this now. I got my incense going. Everything is just so beautiful right now. I'm just so thankful to be alive, and I'm so thankful that you guys are here giving me your time. I'm so thankful that you all are alive as well. Those of you that come with good intentions, trying to learn, grow, heal, and evolve, as that is what we are here in this earth plane to do, to learn, to evolve, to heal, and etc. All right, we have some pulls. Ooh, that just popped out. Okay, that was at the bottom. All right, so with starting this, y'all, we are talking about a demonic network. Let me put it right here. We're talking about a demonic network, okay? These karmics continue to try to harass, stalk, and terrorize the chosen, and then get mad, y'all, when those of us like me and others who are of the divine 555 was just on the timer. I can't make this up. They're getting judgment, and it's coming in hot. It's coming in fast. I'm hearing it's coming in hard, and it's coming in dry with no Vaseline, y'all. And I can't make this up because I got a little thing of Vaseline right beside me. This demonic cult, this demonic network, correction, could include a dark cult, a coven, a dark church, and or a dark group and or organization, secret society. All right. This cult is sending attacks. They're continuing to send attacks. I'm hearing that they are under judgment. It's coming in hot. 555. They can't stop it because all of what they were trying to do to attack the collective of chosen ones, okay, it's backfiring. I'm hearing the things in the past that they did that used to work, they're no longer working. I'm hearing, like the video, like, share, and subscribe. The things that they were doing in the past that used to work, let's say when the chosen were on their spiritual path and their journey, still learning, still trying to, I'm hearing heal traumas and generational traumas and childhood traumas and trying to break generational curses. See, the enemy wanted y'all to get stuck up in that, okay? Because when you're stuck, I'm hearing as a chosen one, you are more valuable as a sacrifice, okay, for dark forces, okay, for these dark entities that a lot of these dark occults, okay, that they sacrifice to and worship for money, power, greed, and fame, okay? And I'm hearing spiritual power as well. So this is who they give their energy to. This is how some people pray to Jesus, okay? Some people pray to, Allah. Some people, it's all about the energy, okay, that you are sending your prayers to, that you're the entity, okay? Is it of the light, okay, or is it of the dark? These dark cults have basically sold out and sold their souls. They have no chance at redemption, okay, in their divinity, because they've been doing this for a very long time. I'm hearing for many years, hundreds of years, these dark occults, okay, operate in the background and in the shadows, and I'm hearing they put on a mask. Thank you, Spirit. They put on a mask, okay, and they create these false lives. They create these illusions so that the outside world and people that may see them, at their day jobs, okay, out in the community, they want to be seen as people that are to be respected, okay. They want to be seen as people that are good, people that are getting it, in the right ways. But behind the scenes, they're sacrificing people, okay. They're taking the innocence from children, is what I'm hearing. They're taking the innocence, okay, and the life from divine feminines. And I'm also hearing they sacrifice divine masculines as well, okay. They go against divine unions. Why? Because divine unions are ordained by the Most High God, and usually with the divine union, there's going to be some form of healing, not just for the people, in that divine union, but usually people in divine unions, they come together and they create things for the collective, okay, of chosen ones, for the upliftment of the earth, for the upliftment of the planet. And this is the time that we're in now. So if you try these I'm hearing these dark cults are trying to sacrifice, okay, a divine union, and they failed, okay. I'm hearing these dark cults have tried to sacrifice a divine feminine and masculine and trying to keep them apart or take one of them out so that they don't get to their divine union. But I'm hearing it was already ordained. It was already written in stone. And so with this cult, okay, et cetera, that operates in darkness, they came up against a real chosen one. They came up against a real starseed, a real empath, a real ancient soul, okay, that agreed and was sent back, okay, to uplift the planet, okay, to uplift and to awaken, okay, chosen ones, okay, such as myself, okay, uh, I'm hearing in the spirit, prophets, okay, chosen ones have so many different skills and gifts and abilities. Some may be the same as others, some may be a little different than others. Some may be a super empath. Other ones, it's so many different gifts and abilities. But really, it really comes down to who you are in the spirit, who you are on a soul level. Okay, who you are, who your ancestors are, not just on a physical level and on an ancient level, but on a cosmic level. I hope I'm not speaking over y'all's head. Okay. Uh huh. Um. Yeah. Yeah, well, the Messiah. I really like to. I see that Jesus is the best, and yes, not. I don't subscribe to Jesus. I'm gonna be real. I don't see anybody. I'm a divine feminine. Well, you may be a divine feminine. You may be. That's up for God, and your spirit team to reveal to you. You will know if you know. But as far as the whole Jesus thing, I don't subscribe to Jesus. I subscribe to the Messiah, Jesus or Yahuwah, or no, Yahusha, correction, the Messiah. Okay, he was a reincarnation. It's women and men messiahs. Okay, it's I'm hearing it in the spirit. Okay, to speak about this, it's certain Buddha bloodlines and Hindu bloodlines. Okay, that correlate ascended masters. Okay, people have to get out of the whole Jesus, Jesus, Jesus thing, because really behind the scenes, and this is not to bash anybody's belief, because it's been so much false teachings. There's been so many false teachings, so that the powers that were and or the powers that want to still be, they control people through religion. They energy harvest through religion. You may be sending your prayers to Jesus, but it's a entity behind that is dark. Well, when you send your prayers towards that entity, you're giving that entity your power. Okay, especially if you are chosen and of the divine, and of certain sacred and holy bloodlines. It comes from our bloodlines. So our ancestors, it was no name or no, Jesus or whatever, but it was the messiahs. You get what I'm saying? It was the enlightened ones. It was the ancient ones, the return of the ancient ones, the ancient souls, and we are all considered ascended masters. I know that I am as well. And so when you look at it, it's all intertwined together. Also, when you get into ancient Egypt and etc., certain gods and goddesses, and it's similar as well as in the Orishas. It's different pantheons, but it's the same energy, which is on a higher solar level that you're able to tap into. And so I hope, just study and research. I had to study and research. You get it one day at a time, but back to the message. I was just guided to go back in on a deeper level. Okay, with that. So it says the cults are sending attacks. Okay, so these cults that worship these dark entities, such as dark spirits, for example, Baal, just dark entities. Some send their prayers to Satan. Some send their prayers to Lucifer. They're the same being. Lucifer and Satan is the same. Lucifer was the light bearer. He was a angel, a high ranking angel, in the heavens, really good with communication and music and etc. Good to the ear. When it's similar to when you hear somebody that says, oh, a dude that says, oh, she's a player, he's a player, where they're good at manipulation. They sound good. They want to seduce your ears. Okay, once somebody gets into your ears, they can get into your head, into your mind, and once they can get into your mind, they can get into your heart through your emotions. Well, once they are in, they got you. You get what I'm saying? Once they're in, they got you, and it's a form of witchcraft. Okay, Lucifer and Satan is basically the same. It's two different aspects of the same person. The power that they had and the rank that he had before he fell. Okay, and after he fell, Satan. Atan. Okay, so it's energy, y'all. But yes, these Eastern stars, they're Satanists, and that's pretty much what Spirit wanted me to say in that breakdown. They're Satanists. These Eastern stars, these dark Masons, a part of these occults. Okay, this is who is attacking the chosen at this time, trying to attack the divine feminine and masculines unions from coming together, whether you're with your divine masculine or feminine in your sacred divine union, or you are still coming in. You're basically, I'm hearing in the spirit, you're already connected in the higher realms in 5D, but it's coming down for you to not coming down, you're rising up. You and your partner are rising up so that in the physical realm you could come together. And guess what? This sacrifice attempt has failed. Okay, the sacrifice attempt has failed that they wanted to do towards you, towards your life, attacking your stability, attacking your mental health, trying to, I'm hearing this cult, okay, and this ex-lovers is what I'm hearing. These ex-lover and or ex-lovers with karmic family members, friends, and etc. They were all in on the plot, okay, to sacrifice a divine feminine and or a divine masculine or your partner so that you would not come into divine love and your, be loved how you love, because love is the strongest power and energy within the universe. Okay, so they didn't want you to be loved, they wanted you to keep your standards low. And not, I'm hearing, not just with romantic unions, not, it could be platonic unions as well. But if you're so used to shitty people doing you wrong in friendships, okay, and you're so used to shitty family members snaking you out in familiar ties, okay, and if you're so used to every person, whether man or female, coming into your life, and that wants to take from you but don't want to give, they want to elevate off of being next to you. They want your protection. They want your energy. They want your abundance. They want to embody your soul essence and your spiritual energy and authority, but they don't want to give to you. So they don't want you to rise out of the pits with them. I'm hearing in the spirit, that's the misery loves company. Okay, they want to keep you down in misery so that they could take what light you have and give you misery back in return. Okay, therefore crippling you because they're crippled, while they get to benefit off of your work, off of you doing the work, off of you connecting to God, off of you elevating, off of you sacrificing the things that would keep you in a lower frequency. They want to they want to reap all of the benefits without the work. And faith without works is dead. So that's why this occult and these hitman exes, family members, friends, co-workers, etc. It could be all of them for some of you because we're on different timelines, and it could be either or. Okay, it was a failed attempt. They tried to take you out, and they're continuing to try to take you out. I'm hearing from many of you, you were born into families that wanted you to be the sacrifice, wanted your blood, the lamb of the blood of the lamb. Okay, they, as the chosen one, they wanted your blood, okay, to be the sacrifice, so that all of these hitman lovers, all of these friends that went against you for money, taking your love, taking your kindness, taking your genuine intentions for them and for whatever connection it is, and using it against you, I'm hearing, to cripple you. I'm channeling, y'all. All praise to the Most High. Thank you so much for being here. Like, share, and subscribe. They failed in their attempt, okay? And guess what? They're triggered that their magic is not working. Originally, this card came out in the reverse, y'all. But right now, I took it out and it flipped over. They're triggered, okay? They don't want you to know that they're getting their asses tore out the frame, your enemies. They don't want you to know that they're getting their behinds spanked in the spirit by the ethers, okay? By the cosmos, by the heavens, by your spirit team, by your ancestors, because whoever I'm speaking to in the general collective of chosen ones, such as myself, you come from an ancient royal bloodline, okay? Galactic ties, cosmic ties. So when they coming up against you, they were coming up against God. They were thinking that you was just the easy lick, is what I'm hearing. Your family members, fake friends from the past, people that you walked away from and separated from, or are in the process of separating from them. They continue to send people in, exes that, hey, how you doing? I'm just checking on you, fake friends. All of a sudden, nothing is coincidence. They was trying to find a way in so that they could snake you. So they wanted to have a way in to snake you. And many of them, they sent back these ex-friends and or ex-lovers to try to sacrifice you more recently, like what happened to me. Okay, they'll try to send them back in and hoping that you would have an open heart for them, hoping that you're emotionally invested, whether you're in a positive state of being emotionally invested or a negative state. You being emotionally available for somebody that does not mean you no good, that have shown people that have shown you that they don't give a damn about you, that is self-hate. And so once you know that, once you learn that, I had to learn. You know, I was born into a very chaotic, toxic family. Greetings, chat, greetings. I was born into a very, thank you so much for being here. I was born into a very, very toxic, okay, dynamic. Okay, so everything that I was seeing was things that a lot of things were not right. But when you're in the midst of that and you're born into that, you know, you don't know any different until you start to see different, until you start to think for yourself, until you start to reason about certain things that you're seeing, and then you start looking out into the world and you start seeing past the illusion. You see, a lot of these karmic family members, their job was to keep you down, chosen. I'm hearing a lot of karmic family members was stealing your identity in the spirit and in the material realms, getting things off of your energy. Okay, and the same thing with these karmic friends and these karmic ex-lovers and or hitman ex-lovers. Okay, whether you're a divine feminine or masculine, they were getting something from you. That's the only reason why they continue to want to come into your life. They continue to do wrong by you, in your face, and give you fake apologies or no apologies at all, and then wanted the door to still stay open. They continue to gossip and slander about you, thinking that you were dumb, thinking that you didn't know what the fuck was going on, when really you did. You was able to see. Your spiritual eyes was picking up on it as you was in the midst of your transformation. Also, I wanted to add this point, thank you, Spirit, that you do not have to be a product of your environment. You can heal. You could become different. You could be from, close up family members, okay, that are karmic, that are toxic, that are dark, that are witches and warlocks, etc. That have lost their way and they don't want to find their way in divinity. They don't want to find their way to God. They don't want to, be of the light. They don't want to do to others what they want done unto you. And that is why a lot of these karmics, in any way, shape, or form that they show up in your life, their attempts have failed. And everything that they have done in the past that they thought that they got away with has backfired on them. Excuse me, let me get a little sip of tea. It's backfired on them. I'm back. They're triggered that their magic is not working and that they're getting toe out the frame, and your ancestors and spirit guides is dragging them for filth in the spirit, in the astral realm, in the dream world, and in the physical world. Also, I'm heavily picking up on that there are these people, these ex-lovers, these karmic ex-lovers, these karmic ex-friends that you walked away from because you chose to love yourself, because you chose the divine, because you chose, hey, this ain't right and I'm better than this. I want to be better. I want to better myself. I don't want to be in the pits of hell. I don't want to be in the pig pen. I'm also picking up on that they were paying people in your environment, maybe certain neighbors, certain people on your job, co-workers. If you was having a problem with people on your job, certain supervisors, etc. in your community, wherever you are, they were paying them in the spirit realm to try to harass you, to try to target you, to try to make you feel like, you was always going to be a victim, is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing gang stalking, sending people in, paying people behind the scenes, making it seem like, oh, well, you thought you was going to get away, cool. You might have left us. You might have got away from us. You might have, took some time and just didn't. You think you're not about to come back. These karmic family members, friends, and exes, they built a life off of siphoning your energy. They built a life out of stealing your identity in the spirit realm, trying to harvest your energy to build up a fake life. So without you there, without getting some energy from you, whether you're physically connected to these people or not, they get exposed. Their whole life falls apart. They lose finances because they attacked yours, okay? They wanted your abundance. They wanted your light. They wanted to walk in your essence. They wanted to destiny swap with you. Many of these people, okay? They all wanted to take you down and then divide up the abundance, your inheritance, your spiritual gifts, your beauty, whatever, your spiritual gifts and ideas, your connection to source. They wanted to sacrifice you all behind the scenes, okay? Whether you know it or not, because I didn't always know. But when you know better, you do better. When you know better, you able to fight back. And a lot of these people didn't want y'all to fight back, y'all. But we bringing out the truth today. Okay, holla if you hear me. Okay, we bringing out the truth today. They wanted you to stay down. They wanted you to stay weak. They weakened you on purpose, is what I'm hearing. I'm also hearing that it was a dark entities and or dark spirits, okay, that followed you from the past life. This is for many of you. This is not just something that is from this life. No, they took you out or tried to take you out or tried to stop you or tried to siphon. They were successful in some way, shape, or form in the past life, and so they followed you when you agreed to come back. Okay, when you agreed to come back to the earth. Okay, when you agreed to come back and to elevate. Okay, you made a promise to God. For my chosen out there, you made a contract with the Most High, okay, to come back to teach, to come back to heal, to come back to speak the truth, to be a prophet or to be a light worker, to uplift the frequency of the planet, okay? We're interconnected with the earth and with nature. We're not separate from nature. We are from nature, and magic is from nature, and alchemy is from nature. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of the times with a lot of these karmic family members or societies or, governmental structures, they tell you that things that are magical or things that have to do with, different forms of spirituality, that it's the devil or, that it's evil and that you should stay away from it. But a lot of people are sitting in these churches, and we're going to talk about this. Spirit wants this to come out, y'all. A lot of people are sitting in these churches, and the pastor and the preacher and the deacon is sleeping with half of the females in the church, young and mature. Okay, these pastors and these deacons is having sex with these little girls and getting them pregnant, and having sex with these little boys and choir boys and different stuff like that. And everybody knows what's happening, but don't nobody say nothing. That's the synagogue of Satan, similar to the Catholic Church, where the Catholic so-called priest is supposed to be so holy and supposed to be connected to God, which is a lie. Okay, his God is not the Most High God. It's a dark entity. Okay, like these secret societies and these Greek organizations is what I'm hearing. Okay, they sit up and they have these nuns in these Catholic churches walking around. A lot of these daggone priests is having sex with the nuns, but the nuns are not supposed to be having sex at all. A lot of these Catholic priests, when they have these little access to these little boys, okay, are having sex with these little boys behind the scenes, but people are still going and still giving these imposters, okay, their money and their attention and their time and their energy, and praying to who they tell them to pray to, and putting their hands up when they tell them to put their hands up, and telling them to open their wallets, and they're continuing to do it because it's a slave mindset. It's a Stockholm mindset, and it's been conditioned through a lot of people's bloodlines from different parts of the earth to take this on. This is how these dark entities was able to gain power, okay? But behind the scenes, they praying the dark entities. Behind the scenes, they drinking the blood of the youth. Behind the scenes, they're violating and tormenting and sacrificing the innocent. So it's literally like the world has been upside down with this satanic rulership, which is wicked, for so long, and it has to be balanced because it's out of balance with nature. When you are in balance with nature and in harmony with nature from within yourself, you're able to be in harmony and balance with the spirits of nature. You're able to be in harmony and balance with animals. When you see animals will start to come up to you and communicate with you, because it's all about your frequency. It's all about your perception. Okay, when you start to be in harmony with the universe, you start to see that really the kingdom of God can be accessed within you, not outside of you, not by giving your power and your prayers over to a fake Jesus entity. Okay, because that's what it is. Okay, if you're gonna pray, you need to send send your prayers to the right place. Similar to, I need to bring up the Black church. That's why the Black church was down for so long in America, so-called really the native Aboriginal American Indians is, our true identity, the ancients, okay? The originals of Kemet, Egypt, the first Egypt, okay? That's why our people were so down and confused for so long, because our people were praying to Jesus and nothing happened. Our people were praying to Jesus, and that entity was taking our energy, taking our prayers, because your energy is your highest form of currency, and the enemy was using it against us. So clock that. Clock that. Clock that, y'all. Clock that. Because this is the truth, okay? The truth has, the truth is the whole truth, and it's nothing but the truth. But these are the type of entities that work on deception. Okay, they work on stealing people's energy, keeping people trapped in their head. Okay, this is how these entities work on a small level, on a microcosmic level, and on a macrocosmic level. On a smaller level, it could be groups and covens and dark family members and dark occult members that are in church and sororities and fraternities and people in government and politics, but they're using what they know, okay, and who they give their allegiance over to, these dark forces, okay. That is how they have their power in the physical realm. It's not because they're so good or they're so great or they're connected to God. And it goes all from the top of the totem pole all the way down to the pawns at the bottom, okay. And they're all being exposed for what they have done. They're all being exposed. At this time, we're seeing governments, shut down. We're seeing people be exposed. We're seeing Hollywood actors and musicians and people that gave their energy over, okay, to, wrote it in blood, okay, that another way of taking the oath of vowing the oath of silence, have given their lives over to dark forces, to encourage people and to encourage the youth to do everything that is wicked and things to defile their bodies and to defile their, it's wicked. And I'm hearing the Tower of Babel, something about Babel, y'all, the Tower of Babel, something about Babel. Look that up, y'all. I just got that message. Something about Babel and Babylon. I'm hearing is falling, y'all. It's being exposed from the inside out. We're seeing it. We're seeing these people, that are in America right now. And this is a global falling, okay? You're seeing the Catholic Church. You're seeing the Pope. You're seeing the Vatican. You're seeing you're seeing things get out of whack because they were the ones, okay, that were leading the masses behind the scenes, okay? Also, the Jewish that control the music industry, the entertainment industry, okay? They control different publication forms and platforms and etc. They have been leading people straight to the pits of hell while they sit back and feast off of people's destruction by sacrificing them behind the scenes. I'm hearing no more sacrifice. I'm hearing no more blood sacrifice. The people that were doing this wickedness, the people that have been taking advantage of people's ignorance, been taking advantage of people, being heavily into religion. And now when it comes to religion, it's all about how your mind, how you view it, okay? It's certain things that you can get out of certain biblical texts that can help you, that can guide you. But if you are only looking at it and viewing it through the eyes, of these pastors and these deacons and these, Catholic priests and etc., who have taken a vow, to Satan, and to Lucifer to misinform you and to lead you down the path that is not of righteousness, it's of wickedness. And the reason why they're leading you down there is because at the base, at the top, the entities and the beings, okay, that want to lead the masses to the pits of hell, they cannot be redeemed. Ooh. And so since they can't be redeemed, since they can't rise in divinity, they want to feast off of the innocent, off of the clueless, off of the misled. And so they feed off of, in a sense, when they talking about the blood of the lamb, they feed off of certain people that are ascended masters sent here to heal, to enlighten. They study your birth chart at birth. They know who you are. They already know. They got this down to a science. And when they take you out, they feed off of that energy, okay, to stay in power, to keep riches coming in, to keep them young, and this is what has been going on, y'all. They have to, this wicked system is built off of child trafficking, human trafficking, etc. Okay, molestation, the raping of people, their energy, okay, the theft of their essence, okay, and it goes so deep, y'all. But like, share, and subscribe, y'all. This is a wonderful read. I'm so happy that y'all are here. I'm so thankful for y'all allowing me to channel the messages of the divine to y'all. I can't make this up. See, their failed attempt. See, they was coming after a prophet. They were coming after a prophet or a prophetess, okay? Somebody such as myself and others. I'm not the only one that speak the truth, okay? That are moving forward. And I'm hearing 911. I'm hearing that the tower is falling down, okay? And also, I'm just not just hearing it. This is one of the cards that I pulled out as well on the side that I'm saving, okay? They want to attack, the prophets. They want the prophets to be silenced. They want the chosen ones that are in their purpose to be silenced, because this is a changing of the guards, is what I'm hearing. A shifting of power, okay, is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that the London Bridge is falling down, but I'm also hearing that there is a shifting justice. The scales are being balanced with the energy of Mayat, okay? Go look into the principles, I believe the 42 principles of Mayat, okay? The scales always must balance as it is in the spirit. It has to be in the flesh. That's why people say as above, so below, okay? The physical realm is the most densest realm. It's the lowest realm. Well, before things have to shift and change in the physical realm, in the higher realms, it's already taken place, okay? But the enemy's attempt and trick is to trick people into thinking that they're powerless, and to trick people into thinking that if you don't go to job and work the job that they want you to work, and go the way that they go to the church that they want you to go to, and pray to Jesus that, in the way that they want you to pray, and, you don't give your money to causes and give your power away through voting, that, you're not going, nothing is going to change, when that's all an illusion. The whole system is built off of illusion. The whole system is built off of bloodshed and theft, and serial unaliving and robbing, and, and the taking of essence, and the I'm hearing in the spirit the defiling, the divine, defiling, divine feminines. I'm hearing defiling the mothers. Ooh, God, the mothers of God. I'm also hearing the defiling of the Mother Mary, okay? This is what they do. They call the Mother Mary the Black Madonna. They call her the Black Whore, when really she's the beginning and the end. She's connected to God. She's connected to Source. She's connected to the cosmos. So what these wicked beings, and people that subscribe to these beings do, they want to, anytime you want to look to see where God is, look to who they are telling you that is a whore. Look to who they're telling you is worthless. Look to who they're telling you has no value. Look to who they're telling you that, oh, you shouldn't listen to them unless they're doing this and doing that, and with degrading behaviors, okay? The only time they'll show you these women that are, of a divine lineage is when they bending over, okay? Is when they throwing it back, okay? When they talking about being whores and bottom feeders like Sexy Red, type shit, and really Sexy Red is not even a real person. She's an agent, okay? I don't even believe that she's really human. They send these characters, okay, out that they create in a lab. I know this is getting deep. I didn't know that it was going to take a turn for this, y'all, but we rolling with it, okay? Spirit wants this to be said, and I am a portal, so it will be said, okay? These Sexy Reds, these genetically modified clones that people think, and especially that the youth think are real, they send them out to destroy images. They send them out to create music that is detrimental to the youth, okay, to many different types of youth, but their specific target is a specific sector, a specific group. Because at the end of the day, they do it with the masculines, the masculine as well. We know who are the most influential people on the planet. Because it's the very same people that could be talking a bunch of bullshit, It's the very same people that could be doing something that's degrading and, just damn right wicked, and it influences. Well, you know why? Because these are the bloodline of the people that are supposed to be in righteousness. We're supposed to be elevating ourselves and our peers and people that come across or run into us, divinely guided, to awaken. Okay, that's what the influence is supposed to be used for, not to encourage, the youth to go out and screw everybody that, they're attracted to. Not to encourage people to be trapped into materialism. If you don't got this Balenciaga bag, you ain't popping. If you don't got this this Chanel, I meant to say, bag, you ain't popping. If you don't got, a BBL or lip injections, you ain't popping. If you're a dude, and this goes across, races now, because this is, the so-called influential culture, but, being used by the enemy to create destruction, to push wickedness, to push body dysmorphia is what I'm hearing, they are using it to push this idealistic perfect image, similar to what these dark cults and these narcissistic individuals that they go by. It's all about being picture perfect. It's all about, keeping up with the Joneses. It's all about, convincing people that you don't even know that you got it, or you're worthy because you have this car, you have this house. But a lot of these people on the inside, they're suffering. They're suffering with people in marriages and connections, and with baby mothers and fathers where they don't get no peace. They don't get no sleep at night. They can't sleep at night. Is that a life worth living? Not that way. But society, you see how deep this goes? Society will tell you this is how you're supposed to live. If you don't live this life, if you don't go to school, if you don't go to college, there's nothing wrong with education, but it's all about you taking your education and your knowledge, okay, that you're learning, and then you going out and learning more on your own and creating the life that you want to live, not working and slaving for a system and these businesses and these companies. For many people that don't give a damn about you, that'll bring you on for a month just to fire you, that'll hire you just to fire you, that'll get you all excited for a job and then ghost you, never intending to hire you. That's all by design. They play in people's heads. They want people to be desperate. They want people to be in survival mode, thinking that it's not enough. It's not enough jobs out there, so I gotta just keep going. It's not enough food out there, so I gotta, anytime it's an emergency, people are running to the grocery store. Oh my God, this is how the system runs. They run off of deception. They run off of fear. They harvest your energy. They harvest your fear. They harvest your suffering. And it's satanic, and it's heavily, they're Luciferians and et cetera, et cetera. That's how you know who has been running this. It's so much land, okay? Everybody should be able to have a home and get it by the right means, but they don't want it to be that way. They want people to sell their souls, Kanye West style, to be able to get a mansion and be able to flex on people, but really, they got to be drugged up because they miserable. They being haunted by these spirits that they gave their lives over to influence the collective, to influence the youth, to I'm hearing to preach and to push a wicked scheme. You get what I'm saying? It's all smoke and mirrors. And getting back to what I was saying about the land, they want people to pay these high rents. They want people to work themselves into the ground, going to work, slaving, stressed out on the job, co-worker stress, workplace bullying and harassment. All of this shit, y'all. And it is not supposed to be this way. It's not. It's upside down. So that's why a lot of the prophets and a lot of the chosen ones and a lot of the light workers and, a lot of the collective of chosen ones, okay, that were sent back and reincarnated to balance the scales so that the earth could be at peace, so that the earth could continue to heal and rise to a higher frequency. Okay, it's not normal to have to go out, slave, and still not have no time to spend, or very little time doing the things that bring you joy and spending it with family and spending it with your children. That's out of order and out of balance with nature. but they make the bills high. They make the prices for food high. They run up the electric bill and your car note and your car insurance. They keep rising it and rising it and rising it. They want people to drown because they're so busy fighting for power. These dark beings know that their time of ruling this planet is up. It's already shifted in the spirit. They're just trying to fight against it. And with fighting against it, it's going to be a lot of chaos before things get better. It's going to be famine. It's already written in the book. Okay. This is biblical. This is written in stone. Okay. They're going to lose this war, okay, on a microcosmic level with these occults that are attacking the chosen and trying to destiny swap and, I'm hearing in the spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. That's why a lot of these dark cults are trying to sacrifice the chosen and attack the chosen and attack the light workers. They always did it, but they've ramped it up because they know their time is up and they want to be able to harvest the energy of a sacrifice of an enlightened ancient being, okay, with divine light and divine source connection so that they could take that energy and try to rule a little longer because they don't have any more rulership, okay? They're being exposed as frauds. A lot of these governmental systems globally, these presidents and, I'm the mayor, all of this is false power, okay? This is power that was given to them by getting into bed, okay, with these dark entities, okay, with selling the people out. Okay, that's why everything is going haywire because it was a lot of dark demonic pacts and deeds done in the dark and they're now coming to the light. Okay, I also want to touch on another thing, y'all. This is a sensitive situation, but I'm being guided to talk on it. I'm just going to let it flow out how it flows out, but it's enough food. Okay, it's so much food. It's so much food in America and globally. The earth continues to give and give and give. And you see these demonic and satanic people, so-called, that were at the top and that want to fight to stay on the top, is charging crazy amounts for food that the earth created. That's wicked. And so they want people to starve, y'all. They want children to be, in bed suffering, parents to be stressed out because they don't have the money to do this and to do that. And every time, they get a little bit ahead, next thing you know, the electric bill, the water bill is through the roof. This is systematic, y'all. This is not the way that it is supposed to be. Their rulership for ruling, okay, hurting the planet, hurting the innocent, and sacrificing the chosen, the real blood of the lamb, okay, the star seeds, okay, the ascended masters meant to awaken is over, y'all. And so this is what we see. We're seeing mass people being deported. We're seeing mass people, globally, systems are falling. We're seeing natural disasters. We're seeing man-made disasters as well, trying to appear, to go along with the natural disasters because they want to, these dark beings want to keep some form of control. Okay, to them it's all about control. And if they have to, they know that they can't put off the destruction because a lot of these global systems and governments, they've done so much wickedness and destruction in the dark. They've I'm hearing that they've poisoned, people in many different ways, children, people that were innocent. Okay, they touched those that were not supposed to be touched, that had divine protection and favor. And now the house of cards is falling down and there has to be judgment. This system is a Babylonian system, okay? This system was built off of suffering. It was built off of sacrificing the innocent. It was built off of destroying the original people and putting them into a subservient, class system of blackness, of poverty, of the hood, of giving your money to the church even when you don't got no money to eat. All of this is over now. It was an attack against not only the collective of people, okay, but it was an attack against the ordained righteous bloodlines that were sent here, okay, to enlighten, okay, those that want that enlightenment, okay? And not saying that you can, because I have to, be truthful about this. There are many different people of, that come from certain righteous bloodlines that are the biggest devils, okay? They have given themselves over. You see, everybody has free will, okay, to make their own choices and their own decisions, and you can't impede on somebody's decisions. And so, I'm also getting that with a lot of these failed attempts and spell work backfires that are happening on a bigger level and going all the way down to a smaller level. They wanted to impede on people's right to live. They wanted to impede on the chosen ones, following God and doing what the Most High wanted us to do. Because once this is not my first life. I've lived many lives, so I know the truth. You get what I'm saying? But when certain people get caught up in the physical illusion, and they get caught up in the money and the cars and the clothes and walking in a room and turning heads because of this and that, that has no real weight in the spirit. You get what I'm saying? So when the enemy has you, when they've tricked you with the material realm into thinking that they're powerful, when really these dark beings are only powerful because people are giving them power. You get what I'm saying? People are giving them their vote when you're voting, okay? Voting is a form of devotion. You're giving, when you go to the polls and vote, you are giving your energy away. You're giving your energy away to whoever you're voting for, and you're giving it to that entity and whatever dark entity that they have given themselves over to and that they worship. It's being exposed now that people have been funding their own demise out of ignorance. That's why the system keeps people controlled. That's why they want to keep you tricked. That's why they want to keep you in a daze. They want you to be a walking zombie so that they can, as long as they have power, they don't care. They don't care about people getting sick from these GMOs and them spraying these chemtrails and the poisons that they're putting in the food and in the water supply and et cetera, et cetera. They want you sick. They want you to have to go to work and slave and get sick and not be able to afford the best food and the organic food, and they even tampering with that. They want you to be sick. Why? Because it's all about your suffering. It's all about your demise. It's all about you falling ill. It's all about now you have to pay over $1 million or hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills that you don't have. Now, just by wanting to get up and go to work and try to do it their way, what they say is the right way. If there is no right way when you're dealing with a wicked system. There is no right way. And I'm not saying, I'm not shitting on people that have, that want to get up and go to work and, people have to do what they have to do. But when you are conscious of what is going on, you move a little different. You protect your energy a little different. You know what's going on. You know what documents that you're signing. You know that when you sign those documents, that you're giving away your energy. When you go into any contract, when you sign your signature on that dotted line, it's not just a physical contract, it's a spiritual contract. You see what I'm saying? So this system has been robbing people, paying people pennies for work that they have been doing, while at the same time taking your energy in the energetic realm and the spirit realm right under your nose. And then people are looking around like, damn, why do I keep working and I can't get ahead? Because it's a system. It's built off of keeping people trapped. It's built off of keeping people asleep. It's built. They're doing witchcraft. These governmental systems, a lot of these specific police forces, a lot of these dark occult communities in these churches, in the community. It doesn't matter the front that they wear. It doesn't matter the storefront that they wear. Similar to how criminals do illegal crimes and get their money in blood and different ways and sacrifice and drugs and whatever, but they got a storefront. So it looks like, oh, they just got a laundromat. Oh, they just got a car wash. Oh, they just got a fucking taco truck. Whatever it is, it's a storefront to make it look like what they're doing is honorable, but it's only a smoke screen. Behind the scenes, they getting it in nefarious ways. You get what I'm saying? So that's how the system moves. Also, this system and a lot of global systems, if you are not a part of a certain community, dark community, you may not be able to go up the ranks in a certain way. If you're not connected to a certain family that has certain ties, certain coven ties, certain occult ties, you may not be able to go up the ranks in a certain way. See, they tell people, even when you come from another country over here, they'll tell you, oh, come over here, this is an American dream. But when you come over here, you have to make a agreement. You have to sign documentation. You have to vow a oath, okay, with the system, okay, with the system of Babylon, because if you go against what they are telling you to go to, basically to stay away from or help or advocate for certain people that, are being mistreated in many different ways, they'll take the little trinkets that they give to you. And that's what we're seeing play out. They'll take it. See, when you're dealing with the devil don't play fair. And I'm hearing in the spirit that the time for feeding off of the corpses of the innocent, I'm hearing feeding off the blood of the righteous is over. And it's happening on a big scale all the way down to the bottom. They're not able to no longer sacrifice divine beings that have found their way to their divine purpose and that have connection to their spirit team and to the divine. And it's going from up the ladder all the way down. And that's how you know whose energy was really running this whole show behind the scenes. These dark forces don't have power. They get their power from exploiting the righteous. They get their power from exploiting and harvesting energy off of the innocent, off of, the traumatized, I'm hearing, off of the, it's etc. It goes so deep, y'all. And it's like, the time for this trickery is over now, y'all. The time for this trickery is over. You must, hold on, let me read the chat. You must always keep him in his place, but stay in your lane. Absolutely. You must always keep the enemy in their place, okay, and stay in your lane. And that's the thing with the chosen, with people that are just trying to, honest people. They're not doing anything wicked. They're not, making these dark pacts behind the scenes. It's a lot of honest people that have been put over time, y'all. This has not just started. This has been going on. It's just now is a spotlight is being put on what was really going on behind the scenes, okay? Certain exploitation of certain people and, the demeaning of certain people and the ridicule of certain people. Oh, those people are bad, but what they're doing is wicked as hell. It's a destiny swap. The destiny swap with these dark forces and those of the divine is over now. And they can't hide it. And they're fighting tooth and nail like a goddamn parasite to survive, y'all. And so we're going to see chaos. Excuse me. We're going to see chaos. We're going to see, uprisings. We're going to see people out in the streets, y'all. This is just the beginning of this. We're going to see people. It's going to get very bad because these dark, so-called ruling powers, they do not want to relinquish control. They don't want to relinquish rulership, but it's over now, y'all. Like, share, and mother effing subscribe, y'all. These people are on drugs. These people I'm hearing in the spirit, they took their power. They saw I'm hearing in the spirit. Thank you, the spirit. All right. Whew. Y'all, I'm feeling a lot of this energy is coming through so quick. I'm hearing that they got drunk off of power. Okay, and a lot of these people also in these organizations, from the top to the bottom, they're doing drugs. They're out of their minds. Okay, they're out of their minds because you know what? A lot of the times when a lot of these wicked people or people that give themselves over to wicked causes and wicked oaths and stuff, they can't, when things hit the fan, when shit hits the fan, they can't live with the things that they've done to keep power. They can't live with the things that they have stayed silent, okay, about to keep power, okay? A lot of these from the top to the bottom, okay? This is an exposure, y'all. We exposing, okay? It's no more hiding it. No more hiding what was going on in the dark, okay? What's done in the dark is coming to the light. I seen what was done in the dark in a vow of silence. I'm seeing, people, these high, so-called high levels of authority and power and, in the, government systems and etc. I'm in these cults and who they put as the gatekeepers, and this is globally. They sit around and they watch people assault children, y'all. They watch people hurt children. Like, that's horrible. And I feel like the planet is rebelling. The divine feminine is rebelling. The Holy Spirit is rebelling. The cosmos is rebelling. It's no more destroying, these children, messing them up, and they growing up messed up in the head. They growing up so damaged and so tormented. Okay. And the cycle continues. It's no more of that. They're being exposed. These child molesters is being exposed. I didn't watch the Super Bowl performance, y'all, with Bad Bunny or whatever, but I heard from somebody that, translated it over in Spanish, that he was talking about young girls and liking them young. This is what this system is built off of, y'all. They use these Super Bowls as symbolism. This is what they're Babylon. They are the spirit of Babylon. They operate off of taking the innocence of young girls. Clock that. I know because I had a dark warlock try to steal my innocence and, make a sex tape of me as a virgin. I know, y'all. I know how they get down, and they harvest the energy of virgins, okay, because it's pure, and they harvest the energy of children because they're pure, okay, and the energy of the chosen and the divine because they're pure, and they want to defile them because they get a payout from these dark forces for doing it. The innocent, the divine, the chosen is a big fish. The bigger the fish, the bigger the payout. That's just how it works. These people have been using charming spells, okay, to try to go against the chosen, y'all, to try to charm these people on, and a lot of our, everyday, people, or we look like everyday people, these people that you've walked away from, okay, they've been using these charming spells to try to get back into your life. These karmics, y'all, flow with me, y'all, because it's so much, it's like a feed, y'all. Thank you, Holy Spirit, that I'm channeling. They're using these charming spells because, I'm hearing that they I'm hearing your karmic family members, karmic friends, people in the community at these jobs, okay, that saw your light, that saw that you were different. They know that you are divine, okay. I'm hearing, and people that they were connected to, they wanted to sacrifice you to these dark entities because the powers that were and or the powers that be are losing power. So they said that they could get the job done, thinking that, doing spell work to charm you back into submission, okay, doing mental spells as well to fuck with your head is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing to try to do memory loss spells, okay, and all types of mental spells, so that when they came back in, you would see them as somebody that was familiar and somebody that, you would be able to, have a friendship with or rekindle something with, whether romantic or platonic, but really they failed. And now that they failed with this failed attempt, thank you, Spirit, with this failed attempt, they're now being outed. And not just them, the whole cult is going down. The whole clutch is going down. The whole dark society is going down. And you already know what we've been talking about the whole goddamn going time. One dark society and cult is connected to another dark society and cult. It's interconnected. This dark coven is connected to that dark coven. And this area, in this region, in this state, in this country, in this, it goes globally, because in the spirit realm, there are no walls, okay? You could connect to somebody in the spirit that's a million miles away. And that's how they've been doing their witchcraft. And that's how they've been, going and trying and paying people to go against the chosen. But the time for that shit is over. The people in your state that have been going against you, political people that are higher up, certain mayors, certain government officials, okay? It's going from the top to the bottom. Since they weren't able to sacrifice you, chosen, and take your energy and give it to this dark, okay, dark demonic entity, so that the people at the top that are I'm hearing the faces, okay, so that they can continue to rule with an armed fist, acting like they got so much power and control when really they're powerless. Because if you're not working with source and you're working with something else that is dark and demented, you're powerless. Yes, you have some sort of power. It's dark, though. It's not going to work against the light, okay? That's why people that are divine, we have a shadow side as well, but we've healed. We've alchemized our dark and our light. So when people come to attack and they think they only gonna get their light side, and it's whatever energy you bring, whatever spell work you send is gonna go back to you. We're not going easy on you. The chosen, we're no longer turning a blind eye or turning the other cheek or coming up with the, I'm hearing somebody don't want me talking, coming up with these, screw you goddamn bastards. I'm going to keep talking. Let me just upload this to y'all. They're trying to attack my throat chakra, but let me burn another incense. The incense that went out. They want us to stop talking, y'all, because us talking is bringing in judgment even faster. When the prophets and the prophetess are using their powers for good, using our God-given abilities to do what the Most High wants us to do, the dark forces are no longer able to rule because we are the new leaders of the new earth. We're here. We're staking our claim in righteousness, okay? In balance, okay? With the light and the dark in the name of divinity. We're not just full of darkness. We're balanced. We're balanced. And they can't come up against us because we're protected by the cosmos and the ethers, y'all. My bad, y'all. I ain't gonna sit here and fake. I just lost my thought for a second because they was attacking my throat chakra. I pray to the Most High that the message will be able to come back. Let me see. Yeah, it came back. My mind sharp, y'all. The enemy don't like me because my mind sharp, y'all. With these charming spells that these damn bastards on your individual level in your personal lives, what they were doing, they were sent in by by somebody higher than them. Okay, they were sent out. Hey, we need this power now. Do you know any chosen ones that will be able to sacrifice? Can you get the job done? And somebody close to you, whether a family member, whether a hitman ex, whether a fake friend, whether it's a coworker, oh yeah, I'll be able to get in. I'll be able to get some energy. I'll be able to piss them off and have them going off, and so we can harvest that energy. I could get them in their emotions. I could get them in their feelings. I could get them trapped back in their head. I've done it before, but one thing that this person, this hitman X or family member or whoever the karmic bitch was, okay, because whether it was a male or female, it was a motherfucking bitch is what I'm hearing in the spirit. They didn't get the job done. And not only did they not get the job done, and they owe the dark entity for because they were getting something from that dark entity to go out and get the big fish. Now them and the cult is cursed. Now everybody that was sent from the higher ups is tumbling down. I'm hearing like those little what's that little card game? I'm seeing it. No, it's like you line the pieces up and you push one and everything falls down. And that's what I'm hearing. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. Dominoes. That's what I'm hearing. Yep, dominoes. Everything is falling down, y'all. They don't have any more power. They thought that as chosen beings that they thought that we were stupid. Look at them trying to play with my channel. They thought that we were stupid, y'all. Every time a doctor writes a prescription for chemo, yep, they get money. Absolutely, Queen Empress. They get money every time you write that. Excuse me, y'all. I'm definitely going to go back through and read the chat, but I'm channeling, you know what I'm saying? And I do, value, your comments and your time. Okay, those of you that are coming in the energy of peace, but I just don't want to lose my thought. And it's real when people, channelers, okay, when we're in thought, it's like connecting, like it's a current, it's a strong, heavy current, and it's so deep. But they're using these charming spells, y'all. They're using these charming spells they used them and they failed. Confirmation burp. They failed at charming you into basically getting into bed with them for your demise. They sent somebody in that had fake love for you, a family member, a friend, a hitman ex. They were sending people in with the, smiling in their face, with smiles on their face, okay, with a mask of a smile on, okay, but they had a knife behind their back. They had poison behind their back. They had death magic that they was really ready to send to you behind their back, and they still sent it, but it didn't take effect because you already saw who they were. Okay, you already was protected. You already chose the divine. You're no longer in karmic energy. So what they meant to destroy you is now destroying your enemies, y'all. Confirmation. What your enemies wanted to use to charm you, to lure you. Oh, you remember me? You remember the good times we used to have? You remember when you was with me and this and that and this and that? No. For many of the chosen, a lot of the time, these damn karmics were a goddamn nightmare. We was the sunshine in their life, and they was the gloom and doom in ours, because a lot of those connections were them taking our light force energy, our high vibrational energy, our positive vibes, and giving us their low vibrational vibes, giving us insecurity in return, giving us self-hate in return. And so now that we are balanced with the divine, we no longer are able to be tricked, okay? And those spells are backfiring. So you're gonna see your enemies, y'all. I'm hearing on a high level and all the way down to a individual level falling at this time, y'all. Spirit wants me to let y'all know that everything is interconnected. Nothing that I'm speaking about right now and bringing out is not intertwined with each other. But it's all about how you think. It's all about your perception. Have you taken your mind back from the matrix? Have you taken your mind back from the powers that be? Have you taken the power over your life? Have you said, hey, I'm not going to allow this system or nobody else or nobody in this karmic family or a karmic exes, I'm not going to allow anybody to think for me. I'm not going to allow anybody to play God in my life. I'm not going to allow nobody but the Most High God to write my fate. And once you get to that point, the charming spells are no longer able to work. The toxic behaviors that many of the chosen may have come into contact with or have been lured into picking up certain addictions, sex addictions, drug addictions, alcoholism, gluttony, continuing to be a constant consumer, even when it's something that you don't even really want, but they condition you. It's witchcraft. The system conditions you to spend, to buy. They communicate with you on these commercials, through these songs, through these movies, through these reality TV shows, through these live streams, through these influencers, okay, that have all got into a bed with devils, and they are devils. They don't mind selling you out. They don't mind selling their people out. They don't mind selling out the youth. They don't mind leading people astray. Why? Because it means that they got money in their pocket. Because it means that they can walk around and pretend like they big steppers when they not. They got to bow down to the people in these dark cults, the higher ups. It's a hierarchy. They got to bow down. That's the thing. When you dealing with the devil don't play fair. With a lot of these fallen I'm hearing fallen twin flames. A lot of these damn fallen angels and people that have fallen over to the darker side, they thought that these dark forces were going to be loyal to them. No, there is no loyalty. There is loyalty when you are of the light. There is loyalty when you have given yourself over to the Most High God. It's loyalty when you are working with your spiritual team, your ancestors, your guides, your guardians, and your angels, and for a cause that is bigger than yourself. Yes, that's when they ride for you because you loyal. You done put in your work. You done put in work that people haven't seen behind the scenes. You done put in work on yourself. You done put in work to basically expose illusions and lies and etc. You're doing what you came here to do. So in return, every time your enemy comes up against you, they're gonna fail. And that's the basically 111 on the timer, y'all. Like, share, and subscribe. That's the difference between being of the light and of the dark. You give your loyalty, you get loyalty back. You sacrifice childish things and karmic behaviors for more wisdom, for more intelligence, for more spiritual power, for more authority, for more protection, for the right thing. See, that's why the light is so much more powerful than the dark, because to whom great power is given, great, I'm hearing in the spirit. What is the word, y'all? What is it saying? I know the energy. Okay, so who great power is given, much patience and much self-control is required, because when you have power, you're not supposed to abuse that power. See, that's what people of the light know. See, people of darkness, they don't care. It don't matter who they kill, who they attack, who they sacrifice. It don't matter if they wronged them. They don't care. Just lay down or get down. That's their energy. They don't have no standards. They don't have no morals. They don't have a code. They don't have that, because the darkness don't play fair. The devil don't play fair. And it's the same thing when these dark people and these dark cults and covens and dark organizations, when they can't deliver on what they have promised to these dark entities, they become the head. They become the sacrifice. People of the light, yeah, we are balanced with our light and our dark, our light body and our shadow body. But if somebody is coming with their pressure from, and it's no cause, they're attacking chosen ones and light workers, but it's no cause. but they envious and jealous, but they just don't want you to be you because they want to take your energy or become you or embody you or sacrifice you so that they can walk with your energy and your essence. Absolutely not. I'm hearing they play stupid games, they win stupid prizes. It's a lot of dark people that have aimed and armed themselves against the chosen, such as myself, that are going into a grave that they dug for us, for me. They're going into the pits that they wanted for us to go into. Why? Because we have full protection and guidance from spirit, from the Holy Spirit, from the ethers. We have I'm hearing full clearance to jump into our shadow side and use it to protect our light body from all threats. See, that's the thing. A lot of people think people that are anointed and chosen, that we just are easily, we easy pawns or easy sacrifices or easy licks. And that's the biggest illusion, because we were sent to be the test, to test these dark occults, to test these wicked beings. It was all the setup from the beginning, is what I'm hearing. It was meant, because when you go against a chosen one, when you go against a prophet or a prophetess, an ascended master, okay, et cetera, somebody that is of real rank and authority in the spirit, not just worshiping these dark entities and, giving themselves over to these dark entities in exchange for them to do their bidding, in darkness. What comes up must go, what goes up must come down, is what I'm hearing. And, many of the chosen, we're being protected. We were always going to be protected. And a lot of these dark forces, they got tricked into thinking that they could sacrifice and hurt and harm anybody because they've been doing it for so long, is what I'm hearing. These systems, these global systems, have been, eating children and drinking the blood of babies and sexually harassing, innocent women and young women, and taking advantage of young men and, tricking them and, I'm hearing exploiting them based on certain circumstances that they were in certain periods of time. They've been doing this for hundreds of years, y'all. And now this wicked system and these dark forces and these people that have been ruling for hundreds of years, if not more, their families are going to have to pay for what they've done on a global level. It's no more, just taking out the chosen and, oh, well, another one bites the dust. No, they got to pay for every chosen one that they've attacked, every chosen one that they've taken out. And this goes across lifetimes and timelines. So this is on a global level, y'all. We are in the age of the new earth, okay? These people were doing mirror magic, y'all, trying to send spells to you to, I'm hearing it, to try to steal your beauty, to try to project how they feel about themselves onto you, while they take your confidence, while they take your light, while they try to harvest your essence and embodiment so that they can do things in the spirit and have certain doors open for them that themselves are not able to open. Hence to why a lot of these dark cults and dark covens and dark societies always have to do something nefarious and diabolical in order to stay in and to stay up and to stay on top. That's why they gotta give away family members and sacrifice lovers and sacrifice animals and certain males have another male bend them over, just for a position, just for some money. You gotta give up your manhood just for some money. You gotta bend over to another man. You gotta get on your knees as a man that's not homosexual and do that. You selling your soul as a woman as well. They make these women do humiliation rituals and stuff like that as well. Outside of sacrificing their children, doing all kinds of things. With women, if you're not into women, they'll have you lay down with a woman and be with a woman, and while she's menstruating and you're menstruating, and it's just a whole bunch of dark, wicked things going on, y'all. It's a lot of things that these people that are on the top that are the top of these police departments and government officials and Congress and, I'm the head of this industry, and they're paying for this. They have to give up something in order to keep this rank, this money, this power. It ain't free. It's never free when you dealing with a devil, when you dealing with darkness. You got to pay. And if you don't want to pay, they're going to get it back in blood. I know many of y'all know that saying. They're going to get it back in blood. And I'm hearing for the ancestors of the chosen bloodlines, our ancestors are getting it back in blood too. Oof. And they get busy. And so it's an all-out, excuse me, y'all. It's literally an all-out, daggone, what feels like a spiritual war going on the planet, because it is. It's global, y'all. It's global. It's the light against the dark. It's the organic against the inorganic. It's literally, I can't make this up. I split the deck on mental magic. It's an attack for your mind. It's an attack to have you give your mind power over. The mind is a powerful thing to waste. It is, because people that know the power of the mind, they know that you can create a reality for yourself when you take back your mind. When you stop giving over your energy through fear and through this fear mongering that these systems want you to fall under and fall into, they're taking your mind energy. Their thoughts are energy. Thought forms are energy. They're taking your energy. That's another way to energy harvest. Taking your thoughts, sending thoughts to you that are not yours, and you not knowing which thought is yours and which thought isn't. Y'all, this gets, these beings are going down, yo. The level of diabolical that they have been doing to energy harvest off of the chosen, off of the collective, off of the masses is just downright, it's just wicked. But guess what? They're wicked. So that's what they do. That's why they want to control your mind and get in your head, because they don't want you to connect to your spirit team, your ancestors, your angels, and your guides, and your ancestors for the chosen, okay? They don't want you to, because this card came out in the reverse, but they don't want the chosen to connect to the ethers. And, because once you connect to the spirit realm and you connect to the source and you connect to the cosmos and you connect to the cosmos within yourself, knowing that I am God, knowing that my temple is the altar, you start to decode all of these tricks and traps and snares of the enemy. I'm hearing in the spirit that your enemies was trying to send, I'm hearing death magic to your root chakra, death magic to your stability, death magic to your finances, death magic to your throne, death magic to your confidence, death magic to what you see in yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror. These wicked beings on a microcosmic level and on a macrocosmic level is under judgment, and they cannot get out. Secret society in the reverse. I cannot make this up. They done had confirmation burp. Thank you, Spirit. They done had people living in an upside down world. I'm hearing like Alice in Wonderland. You go through the doorway, the portal. You fall into a lower realm. And really, the powers that be know that they could get you to fall into a lower, if they could get you to fall into a lower state of consciousness, which has to do with the mind, they're able to control you, control your mind. They're able to trick you into thinking that there's no other way, trick you into thinking that a lot of these powerless, wicked beings, that they're more powerful, and what they want and what they do is a say all end all, and they're just going to keep doing this wickedness, and they're not going to have to answer for their crimes, but it's really a lie. They're going bankrupt. These wicked beings are going bankrupt, y'all. And you know why? Because the chosen collective is taking their power back. We're no longer giving to connections and to situations and to, I'm hearing false relationships that do not serve our highest good, that do not serve our mission, that do not serve our divine purpose. We're no longer we're not falling for the tricks. And this has a lot of these dark beings, these dark occults, they has them going crazy, and they're going crazy and satanic. I was about to say satanic. Okay. They're going crazy and satanic because they do not want to be exposed for how they get their money in the dark. They don't want it to be exposed that they're murderers. They don't want it to be exposed that they like to eat children and have sex with children and murder children and traffic children. Let's talk about how a lot of a lot of these administrations let a lot of these undocumented illegals in. Let's talk about how the government was in bed with the cartel. Let's talk about how they was in bed with the cartel to bring over children, so that these dark societies can have sex with these children, touch these children, eat these children, torment these children. And then in the midst of them tormenting these children, drink their blood so that these wicked, evil beings can keep power by harvesting off of the innocent. Y'all, I'm not here to tell you no lies. I'm here to tell you the truth. It's time for the lies to be exposed. Also, with a lot of these undocumented beings, people that were coming over here, it was a lot of cartel members. It was a lot of children that were being sent over, separated from their parents, okay, so that they could go right into trafficking, so that they could come over and be harvested, whether through their energy or whether through organ harvesting as well. This is what I'm hearing. I know it gets dark. It gets very dark, y'all, but how do we change what's the wickedness that's going on in the world if we do not expose it? The cartel was bringing drugs over here. The government knew it. They knew the undocumented people that was coming over here. They knew. And once they got here, they gave them money and gave them this and gave them that and gave them red carpet treatment and gave them food stamps and welfare and, free health care and free taco trucks or free this and free that. Now, all of a sudden, they're turned on them, because when you get in bed with the devil and you take the trinkets from the devil and you make these contracts thinking that you're going to stay up while other people are down, for injustices to happen on every end of the spectrum, the system can no longer, I'm hearing the system can no longer fund wickedness anymore. And whether certain people that were undocumented was, a part of the cartel, whether they were innocent coming over here just to start a life for their families, we have to acknowledge that it was more, they were allowed to come over here for more harm than good. Being mules, I can't make this up. I just seen a bird fly out the window, y'all. Being drug mules, come on now, we know what we know. They were allowing them to come over here. And a lot of the times when people are undocumented, when things happen to people that are undocumented, the government does not get involved. If an undocumented child comes over here and a pedophile takes them, well, it's like they're a ghost in the system. That has been happening for a while. It's a setup. They allow certain different, class systems and people that come over and etc. But, slave labor, paying them little or nothing, paying them pennies because they know they're exploiting them and their situation over the border to come up. That's what the government does. Another example. Thank you, Spirit. Another example. They allowed the undocumented to come from over the borders so that they could have a new slave force in that way. They allowed them to come over so that they could go against the real originals of this land and give all of the money that they were supposed to be giving to us, that they owe us, to them, to shit on us. You see, it's different ways in the way that you could see this. Now they're saying, hey, the loopholes are here. See, with this government, it's satanic. So it doesn't matter what they tell you one day, or if it goes for a certain amount of years, and if it's a loophole, and it's always a loophole when they want to do some bullshit. We know. Specifically, we know. As Aboriginal American Indians, shout out to the ancient Egyptian bloodline that started right here in the territory that the United States, is operating in. We know. We know whenever they tell you something is good and they tell you can do this, and next thing you know, they come up with a loophole, or they coming for you, and whether it's legal, whether they create loopholes and laws to make it legal, the time is up. They know that they're falling. They can no longer hide their wickedness anymore because the time is up. That's what's happening. If they could still continue to allow illegals to come over here undocumented, not just from across the border, but from other parts. It was people coming from China. It was people coming over here from Africa. It was people coming over here legally and and their visas were expiring, or they just got over here and was like, hey, fuck it, I'm here now, I'm staying. They knew the whole time, but they allowed it. Why? Because it was a corrupt system from the jump. Why? Because every foreigner, whether documented and undocumented, for a extended period of time since they have been allowed to come over here, different types of foreigners from different parts of the world, have been allowed to come over here and eat and win. At whose demise? The people that they call Black people, the people that they call African American when we're not African at all. We're the original Americans. We're the first termed Native Americans. You can look it up in the Webster Dictionary. We are the originals of the land. And so, polluting our land, destroying our people, feeding off of us being spiritually dead, walking zombies. It's over now. It's over now. And this is a global thing. One thing that they don't want a lot of people to know, and the reasons why they hid, Spirit wants this to come out, the reasons why they hid our true identity and changed our identity over and over again. They changed our identity in documentation so many times, more than anybody else in the world, because they wanted to hide our true essence, our true bloodline, the fact that we are the beginning and the end. We are from the original people of America. We are the original mound builders. You can look it up. It's a whole thing for indigenous people's rights, and by the UN, the United Nations. Look up the mound builders, the oldest people in the world, the UN, the mound builders. They know who we are. These global powers know who we are. That's why it was a targeted hit for them to keep our people down, to keep our people poor, to keep our people fucked up, to keep our people in the church, giving their power away to dark entities, to keep our people on drugs and drinking and trapped in the physical realm so that they were able to rule. And that time is over now. How the hell are people who are foreign to these lands going to benefit and get all of these handouts and benefits and free this and free that? You get a car, you get a house like Oprah. And I don't fuck with Oprah because she a part of that bullshit ass agenda as well. We got to keep it real. How do y'all, a lot of you foreigners of dark and light skin, okay, that come over here, want us, our people, as the original Aboriginal American Indians, it's American Indians of this land, for y'all to want to eat and elevate off of our demise while we have nothing, while we're down, while we're continuing to be brutalized by the police, while we can do things right and have to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and then be overly qualified for a lot of these positions, and they tell us we overqualified, we don't get the job, just so we don't, to try to fuck with our finances, to try to fuck with our families and our communities. And you're underqualified, but the job is not even, you more qualified than the job you're going for. All of that is coming to an end. And that's why we're seeing everybody get touched in the system right now, specifically in the area and the territory of the so-called US that's operating on stolen lands, our stolen land, the Black people that everybody loves to criticize and hate and torment and talk about and gossip about and slander and, call all types of racial slurs behind the scenes, okay? You're on our land. This is our soil. Our ancient ancestors were the rulers here. And so there is a shifting of the scales being balanced. The worst has been done to our people. And, a lot of people have turned a blind eye because they wanted to keep getting paid from the wicked system. Now that time is over now. Now we're seeing people be ripped out of here in the middle of the night, okay? A thief in the night. Everything that was done to us shall be done into those that sided with the enemy. And I'm not just saying it about race. I'm speaking about our people that went against our people are going down in the flames as well. This is a exposure of what wickedness was going on behind the scenes in America, globally. Whoever rules America rules the world. We know. And a lot of these powers that were and that still are fighting to be, they know. That's why they came here to our lands on ships. The Plymouth Rock landed on us. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. Shout out to Malcolm X, a real warrior and a real soldier. Shout out to the true. Shout out to the real. I'm hearing that spirit. That's why Martin Luther King got a statue and Malcolm didn't, because Malcolm didn't sell his people in his community out, and Martin Luther King did. Oof. That's why he got a statue, tricking his people out to going against his people, the Aboriginal American Indians, and convincing them that going into blackness would have some sort of change within this foreign system that was operating on our land. That's why anytime we go out as a people in the streets and advocate for justice and righteousness, it's a power in it, because we are the originals of this land. Not a whole bunch of fake Mongols and Asians that came across the land bridge during the last ice age, that this U.S. wicked, demonic, satanic, wicked system allowed to cosplay us, allowed to live on certain reservations, and they don't own the land. Because they can't, because they have no blood right to the land. You see where I'm going with this? It's always so much more deeper than what meets the eye. The smoke is so thick, y'all. It's always so much more deeper than what meets the eye. But what we're seeing is that all of these people, our people included, agents and traitors of our own kind, okay, Aboriginal American Indians, okay, that were tricked into the black box so that foreigners could come over here and claim whiteness. And now we know it's not just pale faces. You know, our ancestors used to call people pale faces because they were pale, but they were also, they had dark Europeans as well. This system only tells, they'll put a little bit of truth in a whole bunch of lies, because it's all built off of trickery and deception. They won't tell you that the Trail of Tears actually happened to the so-called Black Americans that they call Africans and African Americans, and that they try to lie and say that they got us from somewhere else when a lot of them got off of those damn boats to Ellis Island. We saw them and they saw us. See, when you acknowledge truth, it doesn't matter whose feelings get hurt, because truth has a way of purifying and breaking certain spells and curses and etc. And I'm just free flowing. I'm allowing spirit to speak. And that is what I am here to do. Like, share, and subscribe. We're seeing a breaking down. Spirit wants me to say that we're seeing a breaking down of the illusion. We're seeing a breaking down of the false illusion. We're seeing a breaking down of a lot of foreigners coming to America and going just immediately going against, in their countries, they, are influenced by so-called Black Americans. But when they get over here, they hate us so much. And it's always a competition, and they're always competing against us, and they're always measuring their standard. Oh, we're doctors, we're nurses, but they don't want to look at the slums that they came from. They don't want to give credit to where it's due. They don't want to give credit to the real Aboriginal American Indians, not Blacks and not Africans or African Americans, these labels that the system tries to put on us to try to black out our true history, because it's great. It's really great. That's why they've done everything to try to destroy it and try to black it out and trying to cover it up. But it's an uncovering happening now. Oof. The ancestors are here. They are returning, and they are returning to get what is theirs and to expose those that are imposters that are on their land, operating as if they're something great. A lot of these people are not Americans. See, the U.S. system and the spirit of Babylon has nothing to do with America. They're just operating on American soil. They're parading around as America, but no, this is Babylon. The spirit of Babylon. This is a foreign, de facto government, foreign run system. ran by people in Europe. We'll just leave it at the Europe part. And it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And so it's like, did y'all expect for the originals of this land to continue to be haunted by the so-called police and, slave catchers, the enslavement of original American Indians on our soil? That's why we were rebelling. That's why we were burning down a lot of these plantations that were once ours, that were stolen from us. On our land, our towns that they came into and tried to overtake and steal. And now they are the Americans. And now we're just a bunch of fucking Africans with no culture and no history. Absolutely not. A lot of these foreigners that came over here, I'm talking about the 13 colonies connected to the Rothschilds, those first families, those rich bastards that stole our resources from us and then sat up and pretended that they were great. They're under judgment. All of them are under judgment at this time. Whew. And I'm also hearing that everything was recorded by the ethers. Everything that was done to the righteous bloodline, okay, to create generational trauma, generational damage, because DNA carries memory. That's why a lot of us chosen ones and, melanated, carbonated beings, we have to heal that trauma to regain our soul. And we have to go through a certain level of cellular elevation and the purification of all things that were done to our ancestors that were horrendous, that were hate crimes, that were wicked. Okay. And, we have to heal in order to get to our divinity. Our justice is here now. Our time for suffering in silence is over. Our time for seeing foreigners and people of strange tongue coming into our land to steal, to kill, to destroy, to take from us, and then to turn around and act as if they are the creators of it. We see it in modern day time. We see it with anything that the Aboriginal American Indians, aka so-called labeled Black Americans, do. What we create, every race and culture and ethnicity of people globally steal what we create. Not only just arts and history and fashion and flavor, bitch. It gets deeper than that. Our people. We are hundreds of years, year after year after year, and the hundreds of years. A lot of these newly coming foreigners came from nothing. And then they compare themselves. Oh, we're doctors, we're lawyers, we're this, we're that. Bitch, we've been doctors and lawyers. We've been fighting against unjust powers in our land that were trying to take us down and torment us, and we still were able to create these inventions that nobody else on the planet was able to create. Why? Because we are a chosen people. Why? Because we are a holy people at our core, at our root. And in order to get back to our power, in order to regain our clarity, in order to regain cosmic connection, we have to do away with childish things, and we have to let go of the beasts of Babylon that have been destroying and feeding off the life force of the real chosen ones that are the real rulers of this planet, because we come for the original righteous rulers of this planet. Ooh. If you are in the territory, or you know of the territory in the that is operating in the USA and or Canada, etc., the Americas, this is the old world. We are the oldest people on the planet. We are the originals. We are the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. That is why we were tormented and stalked and literally sabotaged at every turn. Because they know our power. They know the power that we hold. And they know that they don't have the power. A lot of these dark people, a lot of these dark beings and entities and etc. So they just try to extract it from us. The chosen ones' destruction, especially the chosen bloodlines of the original Americans, our destruction is their win. Our destruction is their demise. To those of our people that are traitors and sellouts that worship the same dark entities, they've given their lives over. They've sold their souls already to wickedness. So those that they hate and they hate and really are jealous and envious of those that are of the chosen righteous royal bloodlines of the original American Indians, okay, the original mound builders, okay, the original bloodlines of the pyramids of the Chichen Itza. This is my bloodline. We are here. We are returned. We not no goddamn. We not faking this. We are here now, and the throne is ours. And we're not going to be tricked out of our position and out of our power with falling for the illusion of what these wicked beings want us to fall for by being seduced by what they are able to give us in the physical, when really the spirit realm is where all the power resides. And the physical realm is the illusion. Shout out to the ancestors, my spirit teams, my ancestors, my angels, ooh, and my guides and guardians of the light. I am the portal, and I'm so happy to be the portal. Y'all, this is what it is. That's why they give so-called Black American, labeled Black Americans, okay? They give our people more to sell our people out. Why? Because we're a holy bloodline. Why? Because we are the chosen people of the holy books, of the holy ancient scrolls. It's written in stone about us. And it's written in stone about these dark powers and their time being the fuck up. And now it's go time. 144 on the mother effing timer. I can't make this up. Whew. We've been in here for an hour and 44 minutes, so we're going to keep going until Spirit says stop. Like the video, share, and subscribe, because I'm coming out with these channel messages, baby. I didn't know what I was going to be talking about, but I'm here and I'm talking, and I'm going to keep talking as long as the Holy Spirit wants me to continue to talk. I am here. Whew. I am here to serve the divine. That is why every so-called Black American leader that was supposed to be helping their people, Martin Luther King, certain agents, were paid to go against their people. We're paid to trick and confuse their people, because us being tricked and on the bottom and confused, and us giving our power and our energy away to these demonic, demented beings, keeps them in power. We come from the holy bloodline. We are on our land, and we come from the original rulers of the old world. Shout out to Tamari. We are the Tamarican Indians. The original name of the old world is Tamari. The original name of the old world is Amaruka. It was not named after no foreign explorer. All of the lies are coming out now, and the deceit is so damaging. It's causing the towers to fall, y'all. I'm channeling. Oh my God, I'm so grateful for my gifts. Thank you to my spirit team, my ancestors, and my guides and my guardians, y'all. I'm so grateful. I'm sitting here just in awe, y'all, because you know the divine is everything. I'm humble to the divine. That's all I gotta say is I'm humble to the divine, and I am a prophet, and I am true, and I am of the light, and I cannot be bought and paid for. And I'm so grateful to serve the divine unapologetically and to trust in the divine. Whew. Even when certain things in this physical realm when things seem to be going wrong or it seems to be failing, Spirit is also always working things out for my good and for the chosen one's good. You know, it just confirmation burp. Ooh, confirmation burp. Y'all, this is so deep. Like, oh my God. Like I'm like, wow, I really am a channel. I'm a portal, y'all. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and fake with y'all and act like I'm faking this. No, I'm not. No, I'm not at all. I'm gonna just sip a little bit of this because my throat. Y'all, that was why I remember my thought too. That's how I know Spirit is definitely, my thoughts be coming back. Like, it'd be like Spirit be like, boom, and I'll be like, yeah. Message received. But that's why certain so-called black male or whoever agents, you know, would be sent into, you know, these Aboriginal American Indian communities, and you know, to get in, and so that these governmental satanic agents would be able to see what we're planning and what we're doing. And you know, it was a certain law, you know, back in the day, that our people were not able to, you know, gather up in groups. It was a law. Y'all, they was like, if it was 3 or more, it would be considered a crime for us as Aboriginal American Indians on our land to talk to each other. Like, that's crazy. But once you know the whole story, they saw us as a threat. They saw our unity together as a threat because they know how powerful we are together in divinity. Okay, not just coming up with a whole bunch of, people with a nigga mentality. Okay, no, they know how great the original people are in righteousness, coming together and fighting a righteous cause. That's why this government also tries to attack certain Aboriginal American Indian FBAs, Black Americans. Okay, that's why they try to attack us, or they see us as a major threat when we're out in the street and we're angry, because they know that we're channeling. We are our ancestors. Our ancestors live through us, so they know the power that our ancestors hold and still hold, and the power that we hold, and they know that our anger could destroy some shit in the spirit. Okay, and then what happens in the spirit happens in the physical. So they know if we get too goddamn mad, or if we, if we keep things bottled up to a certain point, where it's going to be some sort of explosion. And that's the thing with a lot of these satanic and demonic systems. They also use those times to energy harvest off of us as well, to have us express ourselves, getting us trapped in illusion. Oh, go out there, scream, be angry, do this, do that. That's an energy harvest. And they know that in order to keep rulership, they need our energy. So, they'll go out there and they'll go out there, or they'll allow us to go out there, or we'll go out there and organize out there, and etc. And they're harvesting our energy, but they know how powerful we are for a righteous cause. So that's why they coming up against us like we the Hulk, because we come from that bloodline of extraterrestrial beings with supernatural human gifts and abilities. All of the superhero movies are about who? Us. The so-called Black Americans that everybody loves to secretly admire and envy, but love to hate out in the open. Because they know our bloodline. They know we come from the original people of Kemet. We come from the original Mayans. We come from the original Atlanteans. That's why this is the land of Atlan. Whew. That's why it's the Atlantic Ocean right over there. That's why Atlanta is called Atlanta. This is the land of Atlan. Whew. We are the descendants of the Atlanteans. And so the enemy knows that when we are standing up and fighting for righteousness, when we do that, they know that we are doing that because it's in our DNA to fight against injustice. To fight for righteousness. And that's why a lot of the times, a lot of so-called Aboriginal American Indians labeled Black Americans FBA, up until this point, we've been fighting for every ethnic group globally. Everybody has a problem. They come to us, even globally. Across seas, we don't even. What about the Black Americans? What about the Black Americans? Why aren't you guys supporting us? We don't know y'all. What are you talking about? Because everybody secretly is, especially with the Gentiles, what's going on? They know our power. They know that when we get behind a cause, things shift, things change. But at the same time, when we start talking about our own things that are going on with us, everybody wants to turn it back on them. Remember when they came out with that thing, Black Lives Matter? It was a fake movement. Okay, it was run by a bunch of lesbians and etc. They took the money, they pocketed it. Okay, bought a bunch of homes and houses and went off these so-called, I'm gonna call them Black females. They were American Black females, but they were Black because they were spiritually in darkness. Okay, but they ran off with the bag and no problems got solved. Okay, it was all about emotions. It was an energy harvest. Okay, but on the outer layer of that movement, it was supposed to be, Aboriginal Americans, so-called Black Americans, FBA, standing up for what has been going on, not just now in modern day times, but for hundreds of years of injustices that have been going on with us and foreigners and sellouts. And it's been so much. It's been them burning down our affluent Indian Wall Streets. or Negro Indian Wall Streets or whatever. It's been them drowning out our affluent towns that we put together and built from the ground up, totally self-sufficient. They don't want to talk about that, but then they'll talk about females and males, so-called labeled as black in these ghettos going fucking crazy. They don't want to, this system doesn't want to talk about all of the hells that they have literally put our people through, all of the shit that they try to hide, and then they geo-engineer a false identity, such as blackness, such as our women being whores, such as our dudes being thugs, such as a whole bunch of degeneracy and wickedness, and the children not having no good role models, and them, they literally genetically engineered a identity for us to go into a box, for us to go into, so that we will not, to keep us out of our true identity. And they think that this wicked system that was built off of our destruction is going to continue to go. No. It was written how long that this global and or wicked system was going to run here in America. It was written in stone by our ancestors. It was also written in stone by our ancestors, okay, in another part of the world, that who are going to awaken out of being spiritually dead, blackness, spiritually dead. If you're black in the sense, in the spirit, they're blacking out your history. They're stripping you of your identity, of your, trying to block your connection with source and the ancestors and etc. That's a form of spiritual death, because we are spiritual beings. We're coming out of that blackness. It was written in, I believe, some sort of Hindu text. Shout out to our Naga Mayan family over there, the originals, of the Maya that migrated into those lands and set up our colonies over there, our ancient civilizations, okay? It's so deep. Our history goes so deep. Our true history goes so deep that they do and create these out of African bullshit ass theories and put together state of the art African-American museums, because they want us to get caught up in the shine and the glitz and the glamour in the physical realm, so that we fall for the illusion. So we don't say, hey, well, let me go do some research. Let me go look up my own bloodline. I know for a fact, I looked up my bloodline, okay? I went back about 24, 25 generations, y'all. I didn't see any enslaved people at all. Deep in my matriarchal line. And I saw 1 million acres of ownership. I saw wealth, power, close up royal rulership that was, land, wealth that was passed down, from generations, that was close enough for me to see. Okay. So, and I saw the newspaper article that they didn't steal the land outright, like a lot of, foreigners would come and try to steal land during different wars and uprisings in the land. It's a lot of history that goes on that went on in our American soil, y'all. And, but specifically with this grandfather, okay, he had 1 million acres. It was an island. It was the size of an island. I saw the map, okay? It was so much land that there was a map, similar to the saying, we own, this is our land. We own far beyond what the eye can see. That's in my bloodline. I'm not making this up. I seen the newspaper articles. I seen it. I seen what was going on. And you see, it's always a Judas in the bloodline. And that's why I call out, okay, because I feel it. It hits home with these agents, these Martin Luther King sellouts and agents that want to destroy, their bloodline and destroy their family just for some false fiat. I had a ancestor, the son of said grandfather that went back to 24 to 25 generations. And he was in bed with, certain Caucasian individuals that was trying to find the weak link. Okay. Everybody else in the family was like, no, this particular grandfather, he had 2 wives. He was married 3 times. He divorced one, I remember. And then he married one, and then he married another. But either which way, whether he married you or divorced you, you got land. Okay, you got land, the children got land. It was so much land where you didn't have to be right up on the ex-wife. Like that's real wealth He took care of his kids. He took care of his children. It didn't matter if his ex-wife was, still letting him run up in the bed with her. No, this is my 24th, 25th generation grandfather on my matriarchal line. We had the land of a small island, 1,000,000 acres. It's a certain righteousness, that comes, when you marry a woman and you have children with her. You're responsible for those children. You're responsible, for making sure that woman does not struggle. It comes down through the bloodline. When you are from royals, you don't behave like heathen. But and so that's why with the enslavement of our people, with many of our people, because not to say, I'm not going to sit here and say that a lot of our people were not enslaved. Yes, a lot of our people were enslaved illegally because they were free Indians on their own land and they were kidnapped and sold into slavery. It was a lot going on with slavery. Some people was coming from overseas, okay, indentured servitude, okay. It was certain colonizers that came from other places, certain Caucasian people, the people that people would label as white. They came over here on certain boats, okay. They didn't have anything. The slave ship story was about them. It was never about us. We had everything. What you gonna get us from another African place for? Get us and take us? We was over here doing what we do, living our lives. So this story goes so deep with the injustice, y'all. The enslavement of our people, the torment of our people. It was, a lot of our people, connected to my bloodline were not enslaved, okay? But there were some that was, okay? Illegally, okay? Taken against your will, okay? A prisoner of war type of energy, but they make it seem like, oh, well, we got you guys from Africa and we put you guys here and we forced you guys to work. Bitch, no, we was always growing on our land. They were our plantations. Plantations is not synonymous with slavery. See, the system spins a whole nother narrative to try to hide the truth and cover the lie. Okay, plantations just mean they're bodies and plots of land for planting. Us as the original people of this land, Aboriginal American Indians, FBA, whatever label you want to go by, the originals of this land, it's American Indians of the soil, from the soil, okay? A part of the soil. You can't separate us from our land. We're not going anywhere. We done went through the worst of the worst on our land. We still didn't leave. We fought. We stayed. We didn't run. We didn't flee, okay? Because this is our land. We come from people that fight to the death, and we come from a lot of warriors that did just that. The government don't want to put that out, the so-called Gullah Geechee wars and etc., where it was a lot of, it's so crazy because what they did win, but they didn't win the combat because we was crazy in that combat. Our people are very athletic for a reason. Everybody knows it globally. It's not a coincidence that, Aboriginal American Indians labeled as Black Americans always are dominating in the Olympics. Our ancestors created the Olympics. We created the Olympic Games. We're the Atlanteans. We dominate. But we not just dominate in the physical, we dominate even more powerful in the spirit. They know what the fuck going on. And it can't be denied. It can't be denied. And we dominate in many different avenues. More than just in the physical aspects, in sports and this and that. No, our minds are able to go. Our minds are able to connect and to come up with, it's been hundreds, if not thousands of inventions that came straight from Aboriginal American Indians. Thank us for your elevators. Thank us for your ambulance when you get goddamn hurt. Thank us for the doorknob and different things that literally the oven, the stove, the air conditioning unit, the furnace. We created these things because we had connection to our ancestors, okay? And we were able to tap into that level of intelligence through our DNA. We don't come from nobodies. We come from somebodies. And those somebodies, we are the heirs of the throne, and we are returning And we're claiming what is inherently ours. No more of the original American Indians sitting back and letting fake Mongols and and Siberians, and so-called fake second-term Native Americans, a bunch of newer Asians to the planet. We will say that claim our identity and all of this culture. That I sit up and I'm like, you see this Hindu right here? You see this Buddha statue right here? This is a part of our bloodline. The hair on this is a afro. These are coils connecting to the cosmos, connecting us to spirit, connecting us to nature. The hand, the eye, the hand of Hamsa, the eye of Ra, all of that is connected to our bloodline. But the enemy likes to separate and steal identities and I'm hearing spew false truths and strip the originals of this land and the other originals of our bloodline, because we are a global bloodline, but we come from the Americas. America is home. It's always been home. America is the old world. That's why with this de facto U.S. corporation, they always are known for giving to every part of the world, giving away to all these other foreign not companies, but countries, and corporations. Okay, but they don't want to give to the Aboriginal Americans of this land. It's symbolism. Our ancient ancestors would give to other parts of the world because we were ruling out of righteousness. We would also sell and trade, do trading and the selling of goods, the crops, the cotton. Everybody loves everything that comes from our ancient origins and what we're able to tap into on a modern level that connects back to our ancient origins in a healthy way, etc., etc. But don't nobody want the blues. Everybody want the music. Everybody wants the style. Everybody wants to be an American. But at the same time, you want to destroy and torment and have the original Americans be on the bottom while you rise to the top. And we're no longer there. That time is over. Everybody loves wearing different cotton denims and different jeans and different styles. And they're like, oh yeah, well, you guys are only, these modern day peons that are haters of our people. Oh, well, you guys only are known for fashion and this and that. Really, we the beginning of the end. We the oldest people on the planet. So what were you getting at with that? We were not walking around naked. We created clothes. We grew the food. We grew the cotton, harvested the cotton, created clothes out of the cotton. We grew the food, ate the food, created dishes to use the food and crops for. We're the beginning and the end. It's only people that really don't have any real true heritage and any real true identity that wants to steal and take and want us to be black people. And the time for that is over. We're not fucking with that shit no more. It's over with. Babylon ruling at our expense is over with now. It's over. Running around in our denim and running around eating our goddamn seafood balls and chicken and waffles and eating salmon dishes and shrimp and grits and no. No more of y'all continuing to take off of our culture, from our identity, from our land, from our resources, our nationalities, our tribal identities, and continue to shit on us and piss on our head and tell us it's raining. No more. The fall of this system is here now, and it's goddamn time. Whew. Y'all, the ancestors is fired up, y'all. They fired up. Thank y'all so much for being here. They fired up, y'all, but the truth has to come out. The Tower of Babylon is falling. These recessive, wicked Gentiles, in our lands, ruling our lands globally, pretending to be something that they're not, pretending that it's an even playing field when it's not. How can you compete against something that's from the divine? How can you compete against an organic people when you're inorganic? And I might go into detail about the inorganic beings that's walking around here as if they're people when they're not. They're a kind of a man, not a man. Whew. Mankind. That's why we are the Aboriginals. Original. Shout out to shout out to Malcolm X, because he is a phenomenal elder, and I am so grateful that he existed. We're gonna give a moment of silence for the true activists, for the true agents of change for divinity. And just like how Malcolm and many others that we know of and that we don't know of that really was agents of change, we don't fear death. And the part, oh God, the ancestors are just going, y'all. All praise to the Most High. We don't fear death because we know that death is just a transition. We could truly never really die. A lot of us of the chosen, we are immortals. I've had several lives, and many are, I'm so grateful in the community of enlightened ones that we're people are now learning that, you know, it's a reincarnation thing here. And it has been, you know, for some time. And so once you know that it's really, you know, it's no such thing as truly dying, especially when you are in your divine calling. This is why I came here. This is why I came back. I came back to run and open my mouth and speak the truth and to enlighten. And that is what I'm going to do. No amount of money is going to be able to get me to stop doing what the promise that I made to the ethers and to the Most High God to speak the truth. See, once you make that commitment to, even before I incarnated, once you make that promise to God, you have to stay next to it. And if you don't stay next to your word that you promised God, if you don't stay and fulfill your mission that you promised your bloodline and the Most High God, you are responsible for that. You're responsible. Excuse me, confirmation. I'd rather live my life knowing that I did what I fulfilled on my mission. I did what I needed to do. I said what I needed to say. I moved when spirit told me to move, because I know that it's no such thing as death. My ancient Egyptian ancestors, we celebrated death because we know that death is just a transition. Shout out to the ancients. The real ones, not the ones that's over there in the second or third colony that are ancient Egyptian ancestors, ancient Kemet's ancestors, also the originals of America. You know, I don't want nobody to get confused that we went over there and set up, and now we seeing people running around painting their eyes saying that they trying to whitewash these images, knowing daggone well that the people are melanated. Knowing daggone well that the Messiah is melanated. And it's not to take away, you know, from people that want, you know, are using, you know, different stories and different texts, you know, for good, to help them to elevate, you know, to help them to find their way through their earth walk and their journey. But it's just disingenuous. You know, it's just a whole bunch of Gentiles and I'm trying to use the right words because my ancestors do not have a filter at all, and I don't either. And so I'm trying to be respectful, but I gotta tell the truth. People that really were foreign to the planet, let's just be real, running around the planet, masquerading around as people that they are not, while they shun and try to silence the original people. See, when you look at this statue right here, this Hindu statue right here, this Hindu and or Buddha bloodlines, these bloodlines originate in America. America is the true old world. That's why the hair is coily, afro. Spiritual connection to nature, spiritual connection to spirit, spiritual connection to the ethers. This afro is not hair, because we don't come from animal people with that animal genetic. No shade, but we got to tell the truth here. This is a antenna. It's a antenna. It connects us to our environment, to nature, to what is going on a multi-dimensional level, to spirit, to source, to the cosmos. These are our ancient teachings. But you see certain people that are currently living in these Asian countries and places. You see certain people there, you'll see them with a Buddha, and the Buddha will be pale and it don't have no hair on it. But it's like, come on. I'm also getting a download of the ancient monks. I know that they were walking for peace. The ancient monks are walking for peace because they know that the time for this wicked satanic rulership globally is over. Also, I also had a download with I'm getting the download from the research that I did was that a lot of the ancient monks that cut their hair off, they cut their hair off because a lot of them know that that have that Gentile animal gene within them. You know, we'll get deeper, you know, on that topic if y'all want to hear that. But they have that animal genetic within their genetic code, so their hair is straight. It falls to the earth. You know, the gravitational pull to the earth. Our origins are not from the earth. We're galactic, but we're the first people on this plane within the ice wall. Okay, there's lands outside the ice wall, but within the ice wall, it is our land. Multiply on the earth, be fruitful and be prosperous and multiply. This was our plane of existence. Shout out to the mother gods, all right? The ancient Lemurian mother gods, all right? This thing goes deep, y'all. But I just want to say, you know, I have no problem with, okay, the ancestors want me to come out with something else. All right. That was very clear. Thank you, my spirit teams, ancestors, and guides. Okay, so they wanted me to say our ancestors before their fall, okay, before our last dynasties fell globally, okay, our ancestors chose to give their ancient knowledge to the Gentiles that had nothing to do with our bloodlines. They chose to give our ancient teachings and knowledge to them so that the wisdom and the ancient knowledge and spiritual principles and teachings would not be lost. Hence to why a lot of Gentiles globally have all of these sacred scrolls and, you know, spiritual wisdom and different Masonic knowledge, because on a global level, our ancestors gave it to them temporarily so that we can reclaim it now. And that is what I'm here to do. And I'm going to say it unapologetically for the haters in the back. And shout out to those that are here, that are coming and learning, because it's a lot of things that they do not teach. They don't teach this stuff purposely for a reason. Our ancestors wrote it on stone, their bloodline all the way over there in Southeast Asia, the original Hindus and of our Buddha bloodlines that went over there and set up those empires, those civilizations, those colonies abroad. Yep, the smoke ancestors is saying, yep, you on point, baby. Thank you. Y'all validated y'all. Oh God, I will show y'all the smoke, but it's sitting over there. It looks so beautiful. All right. They basically, it was either die with the ancient wisdom or knowledge, or give it to the Gentiles and teach them our ways, and in hopes that when their descendants, me and the rest of the chosen collective awakening, 144,000, okay, genetic code, enlightened, okay, enlightened, activated, okay, genetic. That was a code, y'all. That was a code. Okay, it's for you if it's for you. Okay, decode it. All right. Our ancestors speak in codes a lot of the times. Everything was coded, and it came from an ancient level as well. They wanted their descendants, such as me, such as others, and also certain Gentiles, okay, that are not full of wickedness, okay, that are not praying and worshiping to these dark entities and giving their lives over and killing people for deals and money and fame and affluence. They gave this stuff over so that their descendants, such as me, will be able to acknowledge and see, and the ancient genetic code and the wisdom within it would say, hey, it's something in that's mine. That's mine. I remember before I fully awakened, I was always looking and I was like, something about that's mine. I'm like, hey, that was my genetic code tingling, saying, that is yours, baby. That is yours. Heal some more so that you're able to connect, to see through the illusion, okay? See, in this matrix, the physical matrix in the physical realm, another word for that is Maya. Maya talks about the illusion, matrix. Our bloodline also is known as the ancient Maya. It's basically speaking through different, I'm hearing different names for, the same name, but different meanings, but they're all interconnected in the end, because with the physical realm, our ancestors knew that the physical realm was the true illusion. So that's why our ancestors was always so spiritual, always praying, always meditating, always connecting to the gods and goddesses of our bloodline, the godheads, etc. Connecting to certain gods and, certain deities that work with our bloodline. It's not evil. It's who we are. We are spiritual beings having a human earth walk personification of an experience. Okay. Wow, that's a lot, y'all. I'm channeling right now. Thank y'all for being here, y'all. Shout out to the family. Like, share, and subscribe. And I done talked about a whole lot. All praise to that. And this my ancestors, y'all. They the truth. That's all I can say. They the beginning and the end is what they telling me. The alpha and the omega. And so, the proof is in the pudding. Okay, is what I'm hearing. And I love banana pudding, y'all. I love me some banana pudding. Shout out to the ancestors in the South. And it'd be so, y'all, it just be just like that. Just by like what I said, it's so many different sayings with our people. It would be encoded, different sayings would be encoded, and it would appear on the surface to just be, a regular saying, or, oh, you're just talking about that. But it means something else, that we get that from our ancient ancestors. Okay. Coded language, we had hundreds of thousands of ancient American languages here, and us, the Aboriginal Americans, FBA, it was mandatory for us to know at least 7 languages because it was a lot of land, and so we had our tribal languages, our village languages, we had our societal languages, in different cities and metropolises. We had, East Coast, West Coast. We knew languages, bro, and it was just secondhand, and it were very complex. And so, we come from a very, very intelligent and supernatural, higher level extraterrestrial people, just based off of how complex our languages are and how our pyramids are, the hieroglyphics are, the Mayan and the ancient Egyptian. Okay, they're of the same bloodline. There is no difference. Okay, the ancient Egyptians, the original ancients of Kemet, come out of the ancient Mayan bloodline. Okay, the ancient Mayans come from the ancient Olmecs. The ancient Olmecs come from the date back to the Atlanteans. Okay, or I'm channeling y'all, but it's all tied in, and the ancient Atlanteans have ties to the original mound builders of the Mississippi, the true Nile. Okay, America is the true old world. America is the original Kemet. Okay, and it's here, bro. It's so many different mounds and things that are still here, but many of the colonizers tried to destroy our temples and our mounds so that we, to try to destroy it, because they was trying to destroy us and trying to destroy our legacy or us being able to look at something and, our ancestors speak to us through it, and it's just so deep, y'all. It gets so deep, but our ancestors we had so many temples here in this territory of what the U.S. has state claim to, it was so many temples. It was temple, gold, silver, platinum, pearls, but we didn't worship, these material items. We had harvest, we had food, we had festivals, we had different feast days and prayer days to connect to the ancestors and to the Most High Mother and Father, the cosmic mother, the cosmic womb, and, the Heavenly Father as well. And this is who we come from. This is who we are. And, it's so many different things. Spirit is telling me to bring out this point. Thank you, Spirit. The 4th of July, the 4th of July has nothing to do with the independence of the so-called U.S. corporation from Britain. They're still connected to Britain. They wanted to find a way. Britain in the U.S. system is, look, you hear the police. I can't make this up. 2222, y'all. This is a spiritual message. Thank you, Spirit. I can't make this up. If you hear the police sirens in the background, it's the same overseas in Britain, okay? And the police are under a oath, but it's in certain legal systems and certain policings. It's straight from Europe. It's straight from Britain. It's not separate. That's why when you go to become a lawyer, you have to take the bar. It's from Britain. They're operating under those penal codes from Britain, the police, etc. It's from Britain. They're just on American soil. Similar to how in a lot of places, not just America, globally, certain islands and stuff like that, Britain always have their hand in it. It was a global takedown. But y'all, I just channeled that. Y'all, wow. Give me a moment, y'all. This is a lot. All praise to the Most High. I just sip some of that tea. Spirit is talking, y'all. I can't make this up. Y'all heard the sirens. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Thank you, Spirit. I went right back to the thought. The Spirit was like, get back on that thought, y'all. With the 4th of July, with the so-called U.S. foreign-run corporation that is operating on American, Aboriginal American, Indian land and soil, they celebrate the 4th of July. They say that they celebrate the separation, but no, that was just another one of their lies that they push out for celebration and this and that. But no, ancient Americans, my bloodline, okay, have been here and abroad, okay, because our bloodline expanded, because this is our lands and this is our plane of existence, and etc. Basically, I'm trying to hold my thought, y'all. Hold on. It's a lot of energy, y'all. It's so strong. Okay, definitely. My ancestors are amazing. They're very, very powerful, y'all. So shout out to the ancestors, my angels, my spirit team, and my guys, y'all. I'm trying to keep up with them, y'all. I'm gonna be real. This is heavy level stuff. So basically, with the 4th of July, that is a cosmic celebration. So our ancestors would always celebrate the 4th of July here in the Americas to celebrate the Sirius star. And when you get back into the original people, when you get back into the original mother gods, okay, the Lumerian mothers, okay, the Black Madonna, okay, who they like to deem as the Black Whore, it gets deep, okay, they are from the Sirius star system. So our ancestors were always in connection with their ancestors through certain holy days, through certain cosmic days, through certain feast days, connecting through stargazing, through it's a star globally, it's ancient stone, what would they be called, like star observatories, just like in the Yucatan, which is modern day Mexico, where they observed the stars because our ancestors would put certain things in the stars for us. It was a communication, okay? We would communicate through symbols and through synchronicities and through, energy. We would connect. Our ancestors it was passed down to our ancestors from, excuse me, since the time that the mother gods were already here and living in peace on our lands, connections with the cosmos. And so the 4th of July is a cosmic holiday. It has nothing to do with the U.S. and the separation from Great Britain, because the U.S. has never separated from Great Britain, and they are foreign run by Great Britain. And so, that's just what it is. And so, it's a lot of also, with the 4th of July specifically, it's a portal. Okay. So our ancestors would use that portal, okay, that time to do certain rituals to the ancestors, to send out intentions, to communicate, because we were able to tap into our ancestral extraterrestrial higher level gifting and talents and abilities to bring things forward and what we wanted to create in our reality, and in our lives. And so that's why When you move and operate out of righteousness, our people come from a righteous people. That's where the power resides. Because yes, it's a lot of power. Yes, it's a lot of wisdom. But when you use it for wickedness, it's not intended for that. You know? And so that is the difference between a lot of these sellouts and false prophets and religious leaders and government leaders and etc. presidents. They just want power, and they don't care who has to die. They don't care who has to starve. They don't care who has to be the slave, as long as it's not them. And that's wickedness. Similar to our ancient ancestors, we had a strict code, okay, a strict moral code. It was certain, within our people here, we really didn't have a jail. We didn't have any prisons because people just followed it. I mean, it was some people that, strayed away, certain bad apples. All groups of people have those, but once you take a child molester that violates a child and cut his fucking head off, and put his head on a fucking plank, in the town square, it's going to deter that type of thing, unless they want, because they know they're going to get that. They know they're not going to be able to live and sit in a jail. They know they're not going to be. We didn't have that. We didn't have, we had dungeons and stuff, but prisons and the jails and go in and out, kill people, go in and out. This is a wicked system. And it kind of gives people that are really criminals. Oh shit, excuse me, y'all. I bumped that by accident. It kind of gives, I see my incense over here. I needed to move it. Yep. Okay, yeah. All right, we back. It gives these, wicked, people, that want to do harm to people, want to hurt children, want even just innocent people. It could be an innocent man, an innocent woman, minding their business. Somebody is kicking in their door trying to take their shit. Somebody is kidnapping their child trying to extort them. That's wickedness. You get what I'm saying? And it's like the system will give a lot of people that deserve to be, I don't know, just taken the fuck out and made an example. All of these, get out of jail free cards, and it encourages theft. It encourages people being criminals. It's similar to like, hey, how this system is built on criminality. It's built off theft. It's built off lies. It's built off deceit. It's built off of tearing down the original people of this land, harvesting their energy, destroying them so that they could take the energy of them, if not being a sacrifice, if not, I'm hearing the blood of the lamb, if not them giving their energy and power over out of ignorance and greed. That's how they rule. So they don't give a damn. And all of that is coming to an end now, y'all. This is the energy, y'all. I'm so happy that y'all are here with me. I'm so happy to be here with you. Yes, the ancestors is talking today, y'all. Thank you, Spirit. I didn't know I was going to talk about none of this, y'all. And that's the difference. See that? Ooh, I can't make it up, y'all. I picked up the tarot cards, and guess what came out? The Ace of Swords. And this wasn't, the Ace of Swords in the reverse. These people are meeting their demise for all the hell that they caused the earth, all of the hell that they caused the innocent, all of the hell that they caused the original people, tormenting them, stealing from them, lying to them, all of the theft, all of the people that were, I'm hearing in the spirit, that were hung without a cause, all of the women that were raped without a cause, all of the children that were tormented without a cause of the original people, and just of other Gentile people that were not moving, in out of the energy of wickedness and darkness, y'all. And this is the thing, y'all. Like, that's the thing when you talk about truth, man. People don't want to hear the truth, but it has to be spoken in order for things to get better. This wicked system they're falling, bro. Babylon is falling. It can now no longer stand anymore. It was built off of deceit. It was built on the land of our ancient Egypt, the original ancient Egypt, which is Kemet, which is the territory that the U.S. De facto foreign-run government, is operating on. This is Egypt. And you know what happened in Egypt? You know how it was the Egyptians against the Hebrews, but really they really don't want you to know that they're playing this out again. just with different faces and different incorporations, but similar energies. And I'm also picking up on. I'm also, thank you, Spirit. I'm also picking up on that the Egyptians and the Hebrews were of the same bloodline. The Hebrews just had another a different I'm hearing a covenant, a holy covenant, with the Heavenly Father. Not to say that the Egyptians did not as well, because we're of the same bloodline, but it was a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? It was millions of us here, hundreds of millions, okay, of so-called Black Americans, so-called here FBAs, the originals of this land. And so, what happened was the bloodline of the Pharaoh was infiltrated, and another darker, demented, our arch nemesis basically got into a role of power, and he turned, used his way in because he was melanated or whatever. It was a time where the whole planet was full of people that were melanated, but it doesn't mean everybody is of the exact same bloodline. Catch that. Found a way in to the bloodline by, I don't know, just found a way in, y'all. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now, and I'm not gonna lie and pretend that I could pull that right now, but I will look back into it. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Look, I'm the truth. It is what it is. Basically, the long story short, a dark bloodline infiltrated, and dark bloodline with wicked intentions infiltrated the ancient Egyptian higher level bloodline, and ended up becoming a pharaoh. Well, once he became a pharaoh, he started doing certain things and turning his hate and his vitriol towards a certain chosen group, okay, of chosen ones, okay. It was with him, he appeared to be the same, similar to somebody that is melanated of our kind. That's a goddamn Judas, okay? It's about the spirits that you take on. It's about the spiritual covenants that you agree to. It's about what you do in the dark, okay? Not just when you're in front of people, not just when you are, being seen, okay? And so that's the difference. It's about the energy that you embody. And so he basically, that Pharaoh attacked the Hebrews, okay, because that Pharaoh was already jealous, of the Hebrews, because they were anointed people, a specific group of the anointed people, etc. And I come from that bloodline as well. So, y'all, this is getting real deep, man. Ten of Pentacles. See, it was all about money. It was this wicked system came over here and enslaved our Aboriginal and American Indians, not all of us, but too many of us, and we're speaking about it. And also, it was for money. It was for greed. It was similar to the ancient Egyptian bloodline that was, the power seat was hijacked by a dark I'm not going to go that deep right now, but dark our arch nemesis that was dark, that slid beneath the cracks and got a position of power, okay, to attack and to cause hell. And this is the same thing that's playing out now globally, y'all, is what I'm hearing. And also within the so-called president-elects, the fact that, Obama and Trump are related. The Bushes and Obama are related. The Clintons and all of them are related. It's a certain dark bloodline, okay. Trump is he got a little bit of a mixture in him, but it's a dark bloodline. Well, the dark bloodline that infiltrated our ancient Kemet bloodline during that ruling, okay, that same dark bloodline is connected to the certain pale and dark faces that you see ruling, so-called pretending to rule America as the face, and those families, those 13 families behind the scenes that's pulling the strings, okay? And you know who they want at the bottom, the chosen ones, the Hebrews, the original people of the land, the original divine righteous people that are of the ancient original ancient Egyptian bloodlines. Why? Because they want to rule, and so they will do anything to rule. And they will do, their rulership means having so-called FBAs on the bottom. Original Americans, American Indians is another name for us on the bottom. Copper-colored American Indians, the Aboriginals on the bottom so that they rule. And so now everybody that they've invited over here to, the U.S. on our American soil, that took their trinkets, that took their money to go against and gang up against and to gatekeep certain positions and to gatekeep certain jobs and to gatekeep certain loans from us, okay, while we are some of the hardest working people and we were called lazy, but we built everything and this is our land, for everybody else to come over here, disrespect us, disrespect our land, disrespect our ancient ancestors on our land. The time of that shit is over. Now it's time for people to pay for what they have done. And we're not going to leave. I'm fair with it. I'm not going to leave those of our people that are treasonous, that worked up against us with foreigners, whether that were pale, that were mixed foreigners, that were of dark skin, but they were foreigners. Okay. In energy, they were dark. And they were moving out of strategy and for wickedness. And a lot of these daggone cults, where's that cult? I forgot. Where is the cult? Okay, hold on, y'all. Spirit is telling me to pick this up. A lot of these demonic cults, okay, all throughout, this is a global thing, and especially in the U.S., okay, it's global, okay, they're in bed with a lot of these governments, these systems, the 13 families that are controlling the strings behind the strings, the 10% or that's ruling, or the 5% that's running and ruling and pulling the strings and aiding and, both sides of the war is what I'm hearing. It's nothing new under the sun. They got the same tricks. Once you see through the maze, once you see through time, I know everybody may not be able to see through time like I can because I have that gift to see through time, okay? And to see through to different dimensions and etc. The same thing that's going on with, the war that's happening in the U.S. So these 13 families fund both sides of the war for chaos because they want to keep power. They don't want to give up their power. So it's going to be a fight. And it has to be some sort of chaos because they're falling down anyway. So it's going to be a whole lot of hells going on within the system because it has to fall. It's an infantile, demonic, horribly run system that has existed for 200 to 300 years, trying to masquerade around as if it is something great, similar to our ancient Kemetic empires, okay, that was here on our land, but was moving out of righteousness, okay? Our ancestors just was not, enslaving, slaves or Gentiles or pale faces that came over here when we were, before our last dynasty fell. It was a certain way we would treat people. It didn't matter that we were ruling. Confirmation burp. Woo, confirmation burp. That came through real strong. It didn't matter that we were the rulers and we had this money and this power and this. We didn't let that get to our motherfucking heads, and that's the difference. Because we was ruling out of righteousness. We didn't care. Okay, it was a pale person or a darker skinned person that wasn't of our bloodline, etc. That came over here. They were considered an indentured servant. Some people had indentured servitude for life. Okay. They were in considered, they had to work. They had to continue to work, depending on the contract. Some contracts were with our people, the contracts were just. When these damn Satan worshipers, okay, came over here and started doing business, they was trying to enslave us against our goddamn will. That's the difference between wicked rule and, righteous rule. It didn't mean that we didn't have access to everything, if not more than what people have access to today, but we were not drunk with power. Why? Because our ancestors was into meditating, into praying, into grounding ourselves, into doing the shadow work. That's where the spirit comes in. That's when making sure your spirit is clean comes in, so that certain dark entities and certain dark spirits that try to attach to you don't get on you and they possess you, overpower you, and then become you. You see, that's our ancestors know that. And that's why we had certain things in place, certain fasting times, certain prayer times, certain meditation, certain times where it would just be women, teaching other women, teaching younger girls. It would be wise women, mind you, the chromes, the elders, the ancient libraries are the elders, etc. It would be ancient men, or older men, but I said ancient men. So connecting to our ancient beliefs, values, and ancient customs and traditions that would be teaching the younger men, teaching the young boys, teaching them. So we knew the difference between, male and female. There was no in between to our people, because we are righteous people, and anything that goes against nature is unrighteous. Whew. Anything that goes against, mother, father, child, the Holy Trinity is unrighteous. Okay, is what I'm hearing. My ancestors is talking, y'all. Anything that goes against, I'm hearing in the spirit, Isis, Osiris, and Horus, the Holy Trinity. Okay, this is what it is. Mother. I'm hearing. Okay. Give me a second. Okay. Holy Trinity. Okay, it was something else. It was another variation of the Holy Trinity that I'm trying to pick up, y'all. This is all off the top. I said the Isis. I said mother, father, child. Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, my ancestors and my guides. Shout out to my family in the spirit, y'all, because they keep me well and they keep me sharp and they keep me young. All right, I got it, y'all. So basically, I said anything that goes against nature is imbalanced, okay? Anything that nature is righteous, okay? Righteous rulerships are in balance with nature. Demonic patriarchies are out of balance with nature. So when it's hurting the planet, it's hurting the people, it's hurting the animals, it must end. And it's coming to that end now. Also with the another version of the Holy Trinity. I'm also picking up on the Lumerian Trinity as well, that dates back to the mother gods. Y'all, my ancestors is going, bro. All praise to the Most High. God, thank you, Holy Spirit. The Holy Trinity, I was going to bring up the Akh, okay? The ancient Kemetic Akh, known as the ancient Egyptian or ancient Egyptian Akh, okay? Of life, okay? It's the womb, the portal, the phallus, which is the masculine element, and then bringing it together to create a god, okay, to an embodiment of a god, okay, in the energetic realm, in the spirit realm, and in the physical realm. So when they say we're in certain, I forgot where I could quote this from, but it says, the sleeping giants, and, we're walking amongst God. They're speaking about the holy people. They're speaking about me. They're speaking about the enlightened ones. They're speaking about the ancient ones that are ancient souls that have a physical vessel, okay, of a specific bloodline, okay, of the gods, okay, that have been sent back to awaken, the masses, to expose injustice, to expose wickedness, whether it's within our own families, okay? Because I'll be the number one person to sit up here and tell you that I had a whole lot of karmics within my family that was trying to tear me down and take me out and dim my light. It was a battleground, from the very beginning, because the entities and the dark forces within them did not want me to connect to the divine, to break the generational curses off of the bloodline that I was sent here to do. So, you can look at this from, I can look at this from every aspect. I can look at somebody that is of my kind, that is of blood relation, that is directly connected to me in the physical realm of blood relation up close, that could be an enemy. I can look at somebody else from another bloodline, whether a darker skinned person or a lighter skinned person that is in no connection with my bloodline, that could be my enemy. But I could also look at people that look similar and different than me, as that, that acknowledge truth and that align with the same principles and the same values of truth and ascension as people that I could talk to. We could have a conversation. And, Spirit Team Soul Family, where you at? I'm calling you, baby. I want you to answer. Y'all. I am so grateful. I am so grateful to you that are here. Like, y'all, I'm channeling y'all. I don't even be looking at the screen, man. I'm just really channeling. Like, I'm really tapping in right here, right now, y'all. And I'm just so grateful, y'all. Like, sometimes I surprise myself. I wow myself because the levels of intelligence of my ancient, my bloodline, my cosmic bloodline, my spiritual bloodline, my universal bloodline, my ancient royal righteous bloodline that was, that is here on the earth, and that is still here in the spirit and moving through me and the chosen ones, y'all. That it's like, wow, like sometimes my human consciousness, I just be sitting back like, wow, like, oh my God, like, who am I? So I know I'm a lot to digest because, I'm an old soul. So I'm now embracing, I'm an old soul. I'm ancient. I'm primordial and I have a higher self. I've healed, my shadow, my shadow self. Many would say darker aspects of myself. I have embraced my higher self fully as well, and in divinity for the cause, of what I signed up for. I remember I had a glimpse, y'all, as I was going through my transformation. And this is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, where I was able to with my consciousness, I went back into the cosmos, and I remember having a conversation, and I didn't have a body, but it was like it was the ethers, and it was just it was darkness, but it was like it was different stars. It was so many, like the galaxy. And I remember I was having a conversation, I believe it could have been with my ancestors, with my soul family. I believe I'm picking up on it was my soul family, and with the divine mother and father, and they were like, are you sure you want to go back? I'm high rank, so I didn't have to come back, but I chose to come back for a cause that was bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? And that's selfless. So it's like, I came back, so I'm gonna do what I said I'm gonna come back to do, And I'm just so happy that I just remember my mission, y'all. Like, to be honest, it was so much. It was so much opposition. It was so many tricks. It was so many death attempts on my life. It was so many people trying to make ex-lovers and politicians and cult religious leaders and karmic family members that was trying to make me a sacrifice, y'all, because they just did not want my truth to come out, for the Most High's truth to come out. And I'm just so grateful, y'all. I remember I from the start, from childhood, I always spoke the truth, and I didn't care. I wasn't, even to adults, I wasn't disrespectful, about it, but I always spoke the truth. I always knew inherently right from wrong. I always knew something, what was right and what was wrong, even as a child. And, I was hated because, within the karmics up close in my bloodline, they saw me as the light. They saw me as, we have to destroy her. We have to bind her. We have to sacrifice her. So I've been dodging, attacks my whole life. And I'm just so grateful to now be at a point where I know who I am and I embrace myself, my identity, my power. And I've called my power back, y'all. And I'm exposing, everything and everybody that needs to be exposed. You know what I'm saying? Was I once in karmic energy? Yes. The darker side wanted to they was sending everything at me. I had certain child, it was so many. If it was just about the money for me, they would have got me, because they were sending so many people at me. Celebrities they were sending at me. They were sending so many people. They were sending people at me that, were very, very, very successful, business owners. I remember I had went on a trip, some years back to Cayman Islands. And I remember it was a cool little trip. It was nice. It was, I really enjoyed myself. And I remember it was this older, Caucasian man. He owned the resort, and he saw us when we were checking out. And he walked over and he just started talking to me. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know. I spoke, we had a good conversation. He asked me, was I enjoying my stay? I said, yes, I was enjoying my stay. And, this is a wonderful resort, and he was just like, oh, well, I'm the owner. If you want to, basically, I'm gonna just come out and say it. He said, I'll give you 2 weeks free to stay at this resort, beachfront, immaculate resort. And it was in Turks? It was in Cayman Island. Beautiful resort, just as friendly as can be. But I'm like, if I was easily swayed, if I was easily just going for the first sign of, oh my gosh, this is the owner of this resort. Oh my gosh, it's money, if I was in my lower nature and just going for whatever shined and whatever looked good and whatever seemed to be, just, hey, you giving it, I'm taking it, I would have been, out of here. You get what I'm saying? Or I would have succumbed to what the enemy wanted me to succumb to. And not to say that he was evil or anything, but it was clearly something in me that he saw. It was something in me. He was an older man, something in me that he saw. He was like, well, did you guys have breakfast yet? He saw me and started talking to me. And, I spoke. I didn't know. And that's the thing. Like, it was just like, wow. And I was like, dang, if we didn't have to go, but we had to go. Like, he had the type of money where if he would be able to pay you your paycheck easily. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would be able to pay you what you would make in a week at your job, at a month at your job, without feeling it. You get what I'm saying? So, but we ended up flying back and everything, but it was just the offer, it was just, hey, like, I like you, it's something, in you that I see in you, I feel like, I want to give to you, and, I'll give you 2 weeks for free, everything included. And so, I'm just saying, not to say that it would, I already said that, basically, if I was going to succumb to just the money and the Rolls Royces and the penthouse suites and, the glitz and the glam and getting backstage, and I have access to that, and but that's not what I'm here for, and not to say that luxury is not bad, not to say that you receiving things. You hear that? You hear the confirmation. Not to say, and then it went right off. Y'all, spirit is in the building. Not to say that living luxury or treating yourself is a bad thing. No, it's nothing wrong with that. But what you are doing to get that, what you are willing to sell to get that, who you are willing to sell out to get that, it matters. Who you are willing to give your life over to, just for, certain access. I've had certain experiences, y'all, that I cannot make up, that I know that the divine was like, yeah, baby, we're going to show you this, and you're not going to have to sell your soul. Because you already royal. Your cosmic royalty, your spiritual royalty, your universal royalty. I'm highly ranked in the spirit, and I'm not saying this out of ego. I'm saying it's just out of confidence of knowing who I am, because I did not always know who I was, in this current reincarnation. And so I see now why it was so many people sent at me. I can't make this up, y'all. I can't make this up. It was people that have deep industry ties connected to the industry. And I was like, why do I keep running into this person and that person, and they want to date me, and not trying to woo me, but it was something in my spirit that was like, no, like, it's something more that they want. It's not what meets the eye. And that's the importance of going through your ego death. At that time, I didn't go through my ego death, but I didn't go through my ego death at that point, but it was something in my spirit that was like, no, No, it's they willing to give, but it's something that's coming down the pike that is not going to be good. And so that's the spiritual intelligence. That's when that comes in. That's when you trusting spirit, trusting the divine comes in. Trusting your gut feeling. Okay, if something is for you, you're gonna feel you're not going to feel some sort of resistance. And then you gotta be doing your shadow work, is what I'm hearing in the spirit, because the enemy will send things into you that you want, because the enemy, I'm hearing, has okay. Am I supposed to say that, spirit? Y'all, this is not no daggone trick. I'm really in this. Okay, so basically, okay, they saying I can say it. So basically, they're saying that sometimes the enemy has access to some of your thoughts. Okay, and so certain things that you could be thinking, like, man, I wish I had more money. I wish you see somebody's life and you don't even know them, and you just want, but it looks good, but you wish you had it. Well, confirmation burp. Thank you, spirit. You don't know Anna was a horn outside that hump. Confirmation. You don't know what that person did to get that. You don't know if they had to sell out their damn best friend or their family member or their husband or their child just to get that. You don't know it. So when you do that, the enemy is saying, oh, okay, this person is, falling for the illusion. This person is caught up in the 3D, past just, oh yeah, well, who doesn't like luxury? Who doesn't want a nice home? Who doesn't want, to do, what they do, and, get paid for doing what they do? But it's all about, what is attached to it. The enemy has access to your thoughts, and so because being a person that is chosen, you're going to be tested more than the average person. You're going to be tested more than the average wicked, dark person, a person that's full of darkness, because the dark forces want to convert you to the other side. So you're going to have to go through, many chosen ones like myself go through whirlwinds. Okay, but it makes us stronger though. Once we get through the other side, once we embrace our power, once we've earned our seat on the throne, we've earned our seat with our righteous ancestors, we've earned our right with the Most High Mother and Father, we've earned our right with the Holy Spirit, okay, saying no to things that, deep down, the ego pulled us towards, but we had to pull ourselves back, okay? We earned it. And so now you get to a certain place where we're able to now, as chosen ones, and everybody's on different timelines, but I'm just telling y'all how this works. You're able to co-create with the universe. Whatever I want, I know I can have. Now I have to, I can't be operating out of wickedness to get it, of course. I can't be operating fully out of the ego to get it, of course. But in divine timing, what I want, I get. What I need, my needs are provided for. And that's why, I'm just here to be a agent of change, and the prophet and the star seed that I was born and reincarnated to be, to let people know, they try to make being of the divine sound in one end of the spectrum. They want to make it sound like it's being demonic, 3. Like, share, and subscribe, y'all. I'm so happy that y'all are here. They want in one end, they telling you that the people that are of the light, not fake light, but really people that are of the light, that are doing the work of the divine, that people like me are wicked and evil and crazy. But on the other end, they're the same people are doing wickedness and darkness and not working with the divine and working for darkness, consumed with darkness. And just as long as they're able to have some level of illusionary power and money and possessions and look like they're the man or they're the girl, then that's it for them. They're trapped. They're trapped in their own traumas. They trapped in their own illusions, and it has them trapped in the 3D thinking and believing that it is the original world, when the spirit and the energetic and upper world is the original world. The physical realm is the most densest realm, hence to why it's called the illusion. Y'all, Wow, this is so beautiful. I thank you so much, y'all, for being here. I've been channeling for 3 hours and I'm not tired, y'all. This is spirit, God. Mm. We're coming into a new day and time, y'all. This is a free flow, okay? We're coming into a new day and time where these demonic networks are just, they're being so out the frame, y'all. They're being exposed globally. They're under, I'm hearing somebody is under judgment as well. Somebody that y'all might know personally, but it's the microcosm of the macrocosm, okay? Physical court. Yep, Mason. I can't make this up. Masons. These people that these evil Masons, because Masonry is not inherently evil. Shout out to our ancient ancestors, okay, of the Mississippi now, the Mississippi mound builders, okay? They were doing somebody was doing illegal business, okay? See, they were using Masonry for wickedness. Okay, the 33rd degree Masonry is ancient, principles and teachings. It's not inherently evil, just like magic is not inherently evil, just like channeling and using your supernatural gifts and talents, or doing oracles, or pulling cards, or reading cards, or doing different forms of divination is not inherently evil. It comes down to who is doing it and what they are doing it for. Are you doing it to scam people? Are you doing it to take from people? Are you doing it to trick people? I remember, y'all, I'm gonna be real, I had a reader, and I'm gonna call her out because I feel like I need to call her out. Corruption of power. Spirit is saying, yeah, call that bitch out, okay? Her name is Mystic 9, okay? She's I think her name is on YouTube, and that's just all I'm gonna say. She's, she has long nails, she has braids, and I remember I started watching her channel, back when I had took a break from my channel for, some other reasons, and I was literally cheering for her. I didn't care that, I wasn't, oh my gosh, I'm so jealous because she has a channel and her channel is bigger and she's making money, and no, like, comparison is a thief of joy. I truly supported her mission and her channel because I was resonating with the messages, but y'all, I didn't even know this was gonna come out. My ancestors, y'all, my ancestors could be messy at times, y'all. But we're gonna come out with it. So basically, this particular reader, I was cheering for her. I'm a seer, so I basically was seeing that the situation that she was in her living state, with living with her man, or whatever, that it was very toxic. And I remember I zeroed in because I could see, y'all, like I really be seeing. So I remember I saw that. I remember in her background, she had a TV and her TV was broken, and or it had something going. It was like just deformed, like it looked like somebody had hit it. And then I looked around and I saw another angle and another day. I wasn't looking for anything, but these things were appearing. See, us real diviners, we don't have to go looking. Things just, we could look at something and it's revealed to us. I seen a hole in a wall, and I was looking at her face before I seen any of that, and I saw that she was unhappy. I saw that she was in a situation where she felt like she was backed into a corner, like an abused woman, like a battered woman, and it was a domestic violence situation. And I remember I was just like, I hope she gets away. Like, I would just leave in encouraging things in her comments because I was able to see that she was stuck and felt like she was trapped, and she was being, I don't know, just in a very toxic situation where she was being, her energy was being harvested or taken, or she was being beaten, or whatever the situation. Long story short, she ended up being a karmic reader, and she took my kindness for weakness. She thought I was an easy lick, and thought I was just free divine energy to take for anybody who wanted it. And I didn't want to believe it. but I did, because I really supported her. I didn't know her personally, but I was just resonated with so many of the messages. And that's when I knew that all tarot readers and all people doing divination are not of the divine. You know, anybody could pull cards. You know, anybody could read tarot. You know, anybody could do that, but it's about the person behind it. And I started to see that she had a false divine feminine light to her. And I was just like, damn, like, and I prayed, I asked Spirit to reveal to me if she was true or not, because it was a feeling that I started to feel. And I was like, I don't know why I'm feeling this feeling. And I was like, well, Spirit, if it's real, if something about her or something is beneath the surface with her, let it be revealed. So Spirit answered, y'all. And my ancestors did too. I didn't even know, but this is just a backstory. So basically, I remember I watched the video and I commented on it, because I would just comment. I wouldn't read the comments of her video. I would just comment and keep it moving. And I remember I was like, that message really resonated with me, and whatever. She was like, she was like, what did she say? She like reached out to me through the comments. I didn't reach out to her. And this particular karmic tarot reader, Mystic 9, okay, that always, you know, glasses, she got a nose ring, nails, braids, and I thought she was true. So she ended up reaching out to me, and at first I was like, nah, this can't be real. And so I look, because, you know, with readers, especially if you have a certain level of following, people would like try to take your picture and make a fake page and then solicit, you know, people to pay, you know, basically trying to trick people out of their money by masquerading around as if they're them, the real reader or whatever, the real person behind the page. So I was like, nah. She was like, yeah, I want to, she was like, give me your number. Yeah, I've been wanting to reach out to you. And I'm like, huh? So I was like, nah, that's a fake page. I went to it. I clicked on it and it took me back to her page. I did it like 3 times. It went back to her page, her following count. And I clicked on a video that I watched earlier that day. So I was like, damn, like, you know, I guess she just, you know, is a divine feminine and she's feeling the vibe. She's feeling the love. You know what I'm saying? And she just wants to, I guess she's able to tap into my energy and feel that I'm the real thing. So she messaged me, and it's like, while she was messaging me, she was like, well, why do you feel like, she was basically soliciting readings. Like, I didn't reach out for a reading. I said that that reading resonated with me. And everybody knows, as a divine diviner, you're not supposed to solicit readings. Like, you know, put it out there. If you want, if you know, let people know. If they want to send you a donation, let them know where to send it. If they want to, you want to offer services, let them know how they're able to do it. But she reached out to me, and so I was like, wait a minute. But I was cheering and rooting for her, and so I didn't want to believe it, but I had to believe it, because she started soliciting. She started to give me a car salesman rundown. Like, oh yeah, well, you know, I would like something that she basically sends out to people on a regular, or whoever, you know, basically copied and paste, you know, that sounds like something that will come from a divine feminine, Queen of Cups, divine feminine energy. Like, yeah, da 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 da, and you know, and it was 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, yo, what the hell? That's why I thought it was somebody that was fake, y'all. So she basically did that, and I was just like, oh well. When I want to book a reading or whatever, you know, I'll reach out to you. But in the midst of that time, I felt her pulling on my divine, my sexual energy, you know, divine feminine energy. And I knew that it was her, you know, because I felt that, you know, and I felt somebody trying to tap into my energy in the spirit originally. And I went and I looked at my phone, and she was reaching out to me, you know, or responding on a comment. So energy is real, y'all. I ended up, needless to say, I'm an earth angel, y'all. And I called judgment on that hoe. I did. Mystic 9. I called judgment on that hoe. Because, you know, she's a predator, you know, she's a karmic feminine. She's a fake reader. And that was my first experience with a karmic reader, you know, and I was like, damn, I was literally laying in my bed and I felt this energy trying to like siphon, literally trying to rip my divine feminine energy from my sacral chakra. And I immediately, I remember I jumped up and I remember I got my crystals and I had started praying and I started smudging it and I called judgment. She thought I was an easy lick. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for bringing this back around. That bitch thought I was an easy lick, just like this dark cult, okay, that was coming for me. And a lot of you chosen ones, okay, the dark cults that were coming for y'all, okay, they all under judgment. I can't make it up. Split the deck on FBI raid. I can't make it up. See what they might still, you know, be making. I'm hearing that they might still be doing work or in business, or it appears that they're doing some sort of money, or they're doing something and they're making money, but the money is slowed down. Is what I'm hearing. It's dried up. Because guess what? These people, just like that karmic X reader, Mystic 9, all of the karmics that were coming after me, these occult dark organizations, yeah, they're under judgment and they're being brought to justice in the spirit and in the flesh, along with the fall of these wicked organizations. Yep, I can't make this up. Oya. The storms of Oya shall consume them, is what I'm hearing in the spirit. Y'all, I am so grateful that y'all are here. Shout out to you. Y'all are beautiful. Oh my God. I see one person in the building now. Shout out, y'all. I'm so happy. Let me look into what y'all are saying. Y'all, it's been 3 hours and I'm just going and going, and I feel like I got up here about 30 minutes ago. But I just wanted to expose that reader, because spirit let me know. I kept it to myself, but spirit, I have to expose her because that's what I do. I expose people, you know, I you know, and why not? You know, why prey on the people that are there and watching you and that you're uplifting now, you know, and soliciting services and trying to force it. And that's just not what I'm about. If you got something from my video and my messages and you choose to give me a donation, and you choose, actually, if you want to give me a donation, I have my my stuff posted. I made a short about it. I have a see, I can't even remember which one it is. That's how deep in spirit I am. I think I had a Venmo. I have my Venmo posted on my page for donations of love and etc. And you know, if you want to give, you get what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, it's like I'm gonna come and do what I'm supposed to do regardless. And you know, I'm just not into the fake karmic reader thing, the fake dark spiritualist thing, because it makes those of us that are true, that are pure hearted, that are doing the work of the divine, you know, it makes people, you know, give a second guess when we really the real thing. You know what I'm saying? And if you here in the building, or you got to this, shout out to you. You are a real one. Yes, 1, 2, 3 is what I'm hearing. Just do it. That, you know, I'm just authentic. I mean, I can't pull all of this out of my behind. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm creative, but you know what I'm saying? I'm working with my spiritual team. I'm working with my ancestors. I'm working with the divine. Okay. And, you know, I love what I'm doing. And I'm just so grateful to love what I'm doing. I love bringing out the truth. I love exposing the lies. I love awakening people. I love enlightening people, because that's what I came back and reincarnated and was born to do. That's why I went through a lot of hells, okay? But the best is yet to come for me and the Chosen Collective. I'm so grateful that you all are here, and Spirit is telling me to wrap it up, y'all. You see my energy levels. My energy levels. Let me see the chat. Okay. Let me see. Let me go through the chat. I'm gonna run through. I don't want to neglect the chat, y'all, but when I'm channeling y'all, my mind and my consciousness is here and I'm there at the same time. So it's impossible for me to be able to just be looking at the chat the entire time when I'm really hi, you're against the dark. Yeah, I don't know. I think that was a troll. I'm against people that operate in darkness. I don't like the whole Jesus is king. Yeah, I don't like that. So I want to block him, even though he's already did his thing. I want to Yeah, block him. Because I don't do the whole Jesus thing. I know the entity behind Jesus, and it's not it. Um, yep. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Um, okay. I'm okay. Let's see. Jesus is busy. Okay, let me look at the other one. If it looks like yes, always. Um, I'll be reading the energy. So she said something, but the energy was different. Y'all, I really be using my powers every day. It's an everyday thing. And I don't even think about it. I just use it. Since I'm chosen one, I'm a chosen one, and I have this exact situation. I was told I'm a divine feminine. Well, you know, if you're a divine feminine. If I remember I responded to her earlier when she posted that. If you're a divine feminine or not, for sure. If you are a light worker as well, definitely good energy, good vibes. Let's keep going down. I'm reading the chat. um so true. Yes, I did. Amen. Absolutely. So true. Churches have some much evil people in them. They absolutely do. This is why I don't feel safe walking in church. I'd rather pray at home. Absolutely. When I had left the church, I never really like going to church a lot, because the energy was just so dense and dark. And for the certain churches that I did like, when I did like to go, I like to go for the music. Absolutely. Yep. Why This is why I don't feel safe walking it. Yep, I've read that one. Love. I'm sending y'all love back in return, y'all. Love and peace. 111. Yes, y'all. Shout out. Shout out to all of y'all in the chat. 100. Preaching. I was preaching, y'all. Shout out to the divine. All praise to the divine. It says definitely demons hate it when you pray for your mother Mary. She was the holy highest of the gods. Absolutely, absolutely. Shout out to the mother gods. Literally. Somebody said hallelujah. Absolutely. It says we are fire breathing dragons, straight Holy Ghost fire, nothing but God. Amen. Powerful confirmations for me. I so needed this. Have your way, Lord. Amen. I'm so grateful to have brought you some clarity. All praise to the Most High and the divine. It says, the Queen Empress, greetings, goddess. Absolutely, greetings to you as well. Queen the Empress, may God reward you richly. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. May you be rewarded as well. It says, it is oh, y'all, I'm gonna keep going. Somebody don't want me talking. It says it is written, when you bless a prophet, you get prophet's rewards. You absolutely do. You absolutely do. I can say that when people bless me, y'all, they get rewarded. That's why when people don't be wanting to give to me out of true intentions, I don't even be mad, because I'll be like, you know what I'm saying? You really, you just blocking your own blessings. But I know that. It says you cannot take anything from him. All praise to the Most High. You must always keep him in his place, but stay in your lane. I guess he's talking about the enemy, talking about Satan or somebody. You cannot take anything from him. No, we don't have no dark forces. We don't have to take any shit from them, and we don't have to take any shit from them. Okay, absolutely not. The time for that is over. Okay, and we don't have to succumb to what they want. These dark forces want us, how they want us to live, what they want us to be. you know these dark forces globally, things are being ripped from them because it was only temporary and never belonged to them in the first place. um is the God, hold on, is the God just shows up. Okay, I guess that was a typo. Shows them up every way they can, and the harder they try, the more they expose themselves, the faster they sink. Absolutely, Queen the Empress. Did you know that every time a doctor writes, I remember I seen that one, writes a prescription for chemo and radiation, he gets $10,000 in his personal account, just one prescription. Yes, they're drug dealers. A lot of these pharmaceutical. That was a wonderful point, Queen Empress. Absolutely, they're drug dealers. They get paid to keep people sick. They just they go to school for all them years, pay all that money to be drug dealers, and then they'll go and arrest the drug dealers on the street and make it seem like they're criminals, but they doing the same thing. One just has a license to do it, and the other one just is doing it to do it to make money. All of them want money at the end of the day for it, or it's for money for them. It says, if everyone in the hospital is sick, why do we need a hospital? I mean, um, honestly speaking, a lot of hospitals are portals, and it's a lot of organ harvesting that goes on there at certain hospitals and stuff like that. And I don't really even know. I don't even know. I mean, for if somebody needed surgery, or you know what I'm saying, like different things like that, I wouldn't say that we don't need hospitals. I just feel as though, you know, I would say let the hospitals do what they're intended to do, instead of make people sicker or keep them sick or get them sick. Just actually don't treat the symptoms. Actually cure the people. Because people could not. It's natural for people to get sick or whatever, but to the extent of how people are sick in today's time, it's something that they're doing. It says all true, but God is the answer. Absolutely, God is always the answer. It says, does common since it's not rocket science. I don't know what that was. Typo. Okay, that's common sense. Okay, that was a typo. Queen of Empress. Love, and light. Confirmation. Yes. Shout out Queen of Empress. But God, absolutely. Y'all, I was channeling, y'all. Shout out to the one person that's in the building right now. I know it's been 3 minutes and 22, 3 hours and 22 minutes. I'm sending you love and light, my beautiful babies. It says the Holy Spirit is a constant stream of flowing, literally the God's throne of grace, the spirit of truth, the living waters. Absolutely. Queen the Empress, I'm absolutely feeling it. I love how that was worded, and I love how it hits. Okay, it says literally Yahusha with us in real time. Absolutely, Yahusha is with us in real time. It says absolutely the Messiah. I am the Messiah. Shout out to the Messiahs. It said across all timelines and worlds. All right, it says Holy Spirit. And that's why Jesus had to sacrifice his body and defeat death. Uh only way to the comforter could come. Yep, the ego, the carnal nature. You have to sacrifice the ego. You have to tame the ego. You have to tame your darker nature, your demons. You can't let your demons overtake you, and then your false self and your ego run you, because it's going to run you off a cliff. It says he loved that much. He didn't want to die, but he told God, not my will, but let thine will be done. And he was obedient unto death because he loved that much. Absolutely. We know that death is just a transition. It's nothing to fear. Absolutely. He doesn't have to allow them to crucify him. He chose to, yes, because it represented crucifying the lower self. It was it's symbolism. Yep, absolutely. The death of the ego. It says because he had the free will to, absolutely, the free will to choose good. Just like a lot of these people choose bad, you have the free will to choose good, to choose a better path, to choose the divine. It says a good man, Queen the Empress. It says a good man's steps are ordered by the Lord. Nobody ever knew where he was going to be. So when someone heard he was at a place, they went directly to that place because God ordered his steps. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's by our faith. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, y'all. I'm loving it. Queen Empress is in the building. Shout out to the chat. God made us in his name. Absolutely. These works and greater shall come. Yes, the Messiah. Whew. All gifts. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. That looks like okay. All right. Wow, Queen the Empress is yes, darling. Yes. It says, with their real they are. Yeah, y'all. God is good. God is great. Hector Galvin. No voodoo is gonna stop God in me. Their light is in me. Absolutely. Keep letting your light shine. Yes. From Hector. Hector, I manifest that is today due to divine intervention for the sake of humanity, whilst in the dark shall come to the light. And in Christ's name, I'll say Christ, but I just don't do the Jesus thing, y'all. Because it is the Christ consciousness, Christ name right now. the second I manifest. Oh, God bless you, beloved. God, always and forever. Blessings to you as well, Hector. Y'all, this has been a read. Go back and check this read out, y'all. I did not know I was going to be, y'all, I feel like my gifts are getting powerful, stronger and stronger by the day. The more the enemy goes against me, the more they just confirmation burp, y'all. Confirmation burp. The more my enemies go against me, y'all, the more y'all enemies go against y'all, the chosen of the collective, of the divines, okay, in the light, okay. The more you just gonna get powerful. The more they don't want you to get money, the more you gonna get money. The more they don't want you to thrive, the more you're gonna thrive. The more they don't want you to win, the more they're making a way for you to win. See, what the enemy doesn't know is that the energy that they send towards the righteous, the chosens, the light workers, the prophets, the star seeds, and trying to stop us from, fulfilling the Most High's divine will, as the will shall be done. It was written, okay. The more that they're giving us our energy. They're giving us their energy, and their energy is being transmuted to help us even more and more and more, on top of us already having our gifts, on top of us being protected, on top of us being ordained to do what we're doing. So it's like the darkness is never gonna win, so y'all just laugh at these silly rabbits, these clowns, okay, these clowns, that agents that these dark forces are sending in to try to stop you from winning, to try to stop you from being confident and standing in your power and your strength. Y'all, I done read the chat. I need to get up now, y'all, and move my legs around because my feet are asleep, y'all. It's been 3 hours and almost 30 minutes, but I'm so grateful that y'all are here. I hope that I was able to bring you some clarity, some truth, some wisdom, some enlightenment, okay, some spiritual gems, some advice, and also some history, okay, as well as real ancient history as well. And, I'm just so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful that you're here. If you're not grateful for nothing, just be grateful that you're alive. A lot of people did not get up this morning, and, sometimes in this wicked ass, society, it'll have you just not being grateful, for the things that you really should be grateful for, like your health, your mind, your body, your life, health, your ability to think for yourself, your ability to wash yourself. Everybody is not able to wash themselves up. Some people are in diapers, some people are paralyzed, some people are sick and hurting, and body is in pain and burning. So it's just kind of like, I just am here to be the voice, and also to allow, people to think for themselves, and to also expose what the enemy has been doing in deception behind the scenes. Okay, so definitely much gratitude to all of you that were here, whether you just stopped by or you stayed for a while. It doesn't, I'm just so grateful for your attention, for your ear, and to basically I'm a prophet, y'all. I'm a prophetess. I'm talking about what's happening now, y'all. We done went back in time. We done jumped. I done jumped with y'all to the me before I reincarnated here, and along my earth walking journey, and how I'm seeing across different realms in real time. And I'm really a part of both worlds at the same time, and the spirit world and the physical realm. I got one foot in both. So this is a real thing, and I'm so grateful, because I'm grateful to be of service to the divine, as I said before. And I'm getting a little hungry, y'all. And it's so crazy because it's like, it's been 3 hours. I didn't eat anything. I just had a couple of sips of this tea, and it's like I'm fueled, y'all. That's how you know that you in your purpose. That's how you know it's like spirit will give you the energy, and you'll be energized like you just ate a healthy balanced breakfast, or because it's like the passion, it fuels me. It's not about the numbers. It's not about how many subscribers you have. It's not about how many people are donating to you. It's not about somebody else looking at you and saying, oh my God, you got 10,000, 20,000. And that's a wonderful thing, if you're building and you're getting it and, you're putting in the work. But it's about the mission. My stomach is growling, y'all. Oh my gosh. My stomach, you embarrassing me. I told him I ain't eat nothing. My stomach like, you right, you ain't ate nothing, and you need to get something right now. My stomach be talking to me, y'all. But my stomach was like, okay, you done did your big one. Now it's time to put some food in me, y'all. My stomach be having an attitude. My stomach be having an attitude, y'all. But it's all in love, y'all. My stomach was like, if y'all just heard my stomach in the background, like it would have sounded like, child, I haven't eaten in years. But with that being said, y'all, my stomach is telling me it's time to go. But I can eat, you know what I'm saying? But it's like it's like I'm connecting to the divine. That's what I'm saying. Like my stomach is want to eat, but it's like my spirit, my purpose being fulfilled outweighs, temporarily, you know, my physical, ability, me being hungry, I ain't ate nothing, y'all. It's been 3 hours and my stomach was like, okay, now I'm hungry now. And now I'm getting a little, now my thoughts. So my stomach is telling me, y'all, I gotta go eat. My stomach is saying, you're not going to move forward with this anymore. You've said what you needed to say. All praise to the divine. And oh my God, y'all, we coming up on the 333, 3 hours and 33 minutes. That's the time of spirit. We in the building. Woo! Y'all, this is so exciting. Oh my God. This is so beautiful. This is such a beautiful moment. I'm gonna wait until it hits 333. Because I didn't even intentionally plan for I just was going on the live. Spirit was just guiding me on the live, y'all. So we giving all salute and praise to the Most High Divine Spirit, my spirit team, ancestors, angels, and guides across all worlds, realms, and dimensions. Thank you for allowing me to be the portal. Thank you for allowing me to be the voice. My ancestors told me a little while ago that I was done. And then my stomach was like, okay, we know you passionate. We know you love it. You hear me? 333 on the timer, y'all. So I hope y'all have a wonderful day, night, or evening. And I'm about to go get me some food before my stomach fights me. Love, like, share, and subscribe. And until we meet again, peace.